Evening in NSF. Evening in NSF is a time of contrasts. It's a time of changes. It's a time of transitions. And the sky, as we watch the canvas transition from day to night, we watch over a city that refuses to dim. Streetlights flicker on, gentle glow of faces lit up by hollow ads on the streets. All those who seek refuge in NSF's night's embrace. Camera finds its way through those city streets, the air vibrating with a promise of possibility, with untold stories of secrets whispered beneath the cover of the emerging dusk. As the maglevs continue off in their distance, their ceaseless journeys, the lights streak through the cityscape, a vivid reminder, that in NSF, life is an endless stream of moments and memories. Camera comes down the alleyway, towards the base, and just merges through the door. What do we find our group doing?
Actually, as it cuts through, Patty is just walking in. She's probably got a little bit of glow on her, just coming from the bullet hole. So she's like, all right, I'm back. What do we figure out?
You, smell of alcohol.
I got a couple drinks in at the bullet hole. I figured I could just stop around after checking out the trucks.
How focused?
I just did the whole job. I'm allowed to treat myself, okay? Chill.
I'm...
Least she can do with, a lack of eyebrows.
And I put some on. They're bright green.
Oh, those are supposed to be eyebrows. I thought algae had just started forming on your face.
Well, you're the shrimp, so...
I wish, honestly, at this point. I'm sick of looking at this mug.
I like how the one on the left doesn't look like the one on the right.
Do you want to look like you're always questioning someone? Always a little confused?
No, I always want to look like I'm angry, so, like... Anyways.
Angle's a little off.
Yeah. Look, whatever. But would y'all figure anything?
Well, Karen, you go ahead. You look like you had something to say.
It's possible we have an idea. We at least know what the place is like. It's got a heck of an employee system.
Oh,
Nice.
definitely.
Big ol' hamster ball right in the middle. One employee controls everything.
So what, they, automate everything?
Mm-hmm. They are
Almost.
the automation.
Feel sorry for whoever the guy is in charge of that.
Think if your white blood cells had to control entire automatons to defend a building.
Yeah.
They are the building. It's quite disturbing, honestly, but I respect it.
So, are we just gonna fuck with them and then fuck everything up? What are we doing?
We've got a shopping list if we want to go in there and take shit. Absolutely. But we can't even take any of the good shit. All of it would be tracked the moment it left the building, so...
Yeah. Is Troy around? Or is he still in the net?
you see Troy is plugged into a power socket and is currently on the net.
Alright, cool. I just open up the codex. I'm like, yo, Troy, figure anything out?
We see Troy walking down a pathway in the net when he receives his message. He has the coordinates to the net location of the home emporium. And just in the middle of his journey to there, he gets the text message and replies, "I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking."
Alright, just we're all gathered here. We're brewing. We just whenever you got your information ready, just head on back. And she just turns off the codex and says, well, he's still in the field, apparently.
The job's not done.
I don't know, maybe he's having to deal with some particularly rough firewalls or something.
Anyways. So for this, we're going to need a fair bit of manufacturing. My focus before I start going piecemeal by piecemeal of building every part we need, I'm actually going to start working on upgrading our manufacturing capability, and then we'll get the supplies all done in probably about the same amount of time with a much better output.
Alright. Need any help putting anything up there, or you got it on your hands?
I'm not to sound offensive, the only person here who could help me would be Troy.
And I ain't worried about it. I was just saying if you need lifting something or something.
Again, I would ask Troy.
No problem.
In the meantime, I believe we got a decent bit of questions, but still more left to be had. I wasn't able to get enough info from the employee there. Do you feel like we did, Karen? Because I felt we came short.
Not nearly. No, my idea is me and, well, might as well bring Patty along.
Well, you need me. I thought, you'd have them fucking begging on their knees, giving you everything in their life savings.
Yeah, it works better when I'm standing next to somebody that makes them feel like doing that more.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I can do what I need to do.
Use words, hold the big gun. That kind of approach.
Yeah, walk in with my dick.
At least that first.
Alright, so if you're running manufacturing, Troy's doing his thing. You and me head out, meet back here, what, hour? 2 hours?
Yes.
Alright.
After our little errand.
No problem. Oh, by the way, forgot to send this to you earlier. Patty flicks her finger and the contact details to M&M head over. Here's Mickey's details, the guy who ran the whole courier job. He gave me that earlier and I was going to send it to you since you could be like my whole fucking runner thing. I don't know what they call it. Yeah. Well, I no longer got tech, so I guess you're basically my new fixer of some sort.
Courier jobs.
Yeah.
Kind of what they're called.
Yeah, but I'm saying if he talks to you. Yeah. Yeah. And I just sent a quick message to Mickey, and I'm like, you're going to be getting a message. That's basically my fixer. You need jobs for me to do? Just talk to her.
You receive a thumbs up emoji.
Yep. Cool.
Well, let's head out, Patty.
All right. Cool. And Patty just slides the backpack on again and just follows after Karen into the alley.
As you guys head out, what is Troy up to?
So, Troy's starting out with his own little bit of recon. We got to see some physical stuff. What's the What's the net site location look like for the Home Emporium?
Looks like the Home Emporium.
I figured it was going to be.
Yep.
It's probably going to. I'm going to guess that this is going to be some kind of online shopping thing where people on the net can go and shop. And all right, so being able to just grasp what he was able to grasp, jumping between outside security cameras and Krill and Karen's security camera codexes. I'm pretty sure he's probably noticed at this point it's about a 1-for-1 recreation of the Home Emporium. Does he see, however, the big sphere in the middle?
No.
Okay. Is there something in the middle where the big sphere would be, or is it completely empty?
No. Give me a roll.
That's a +2.
The dimensions of this space seem to be adequately altered to accommodate the unnecessary storage areas and staff areas. As it is a digital space, there's no need for those spaces to be even rendered or take up any memory.
All right. But I would assume there would have to be other forms of entrances for like administrators and stuff. Possibly where maybe those staff entrances would have been at the regular store.
Give me a roll.
There's another +2.
As you walk around the store in this digital space, it is even more brightly lit than the store itself, and the store itself has glaring retail lighting going on. In this space, one of the first things you probably notice is that there's a lot of advertising. There seems to have this space seems to have been whored out to every third-party advertising service that has the ability, the function, the capability to inject ads into a digital space on the net. Every space that isn't product basically has been plastered with some form or another of an ad, and it gets a little tenuous to even be able to tell the difference sometimes, whether you're looking at an ad or whether you're looking at a product that's on the shelf. You're like, is this, you don't necessarily even know what you're buying, whether it's from Home Emporium or whether it's from some drop shipper or not. As you make your way around the store, what you find is a
big green download button in 3D, basically.
Yes. Yeah. Functionally so. What you find is in the back corner there is a door that is marked staff only.
Are there security cameras anywhere looking around this door?
Yes.
Okay. Troy's going to walk outside and start walking around the outside of the store.
Okay.
Now. I'm guessing there aren't the loading bays this time.
Nope.
No need for them in the digital store. Potential other entrances, other doors to walk through?
There is another door.
All right. Is it labeled?
It is not.
Troy just touches the door. Not opening, just touches it.
Nothing occurs.
Just gonna give the door a little bit of just like jiggle it open, not walk all the way through. Just kind of open the door slightly. Anything happen?
No.
All right. Troy opens the door. Doesn't walk through. He just sees what's inside.
Give me a roll.
Okay. That is a 0.
The door's locked.
Okay, figured. Right. So besides that one staff room entrance, and the one outside. That's the only doors Troy has found besides the main entrance itself, right?
Correct.
And there are... What are the security features? We just seen more cameras and stuff. We're not seeing like any of those kind of dogs walking around.
Nope.
All right, so it's starting to sound like this place isn't quite as secured as the last place he went to. All right. Pretty satisfied with this, just with this information. Troy's going to look up Club 2600.
Okay.
And he's going to start making his way to Club 2600.
Making his way down.
Making my way downtown.
All right. The ubiquitous marker on the ground for Troy as springs to life. Home Emporium is not in one of the sort of... Home Emporium is set away from the core of the city, much like it is in the real world, mainly because there is priority, and priority costs creds the closer you are to that main drag. Which, yes.
So this guy might not have the creds yet.
So net space is very much, once it became established, the net started to cost creds, right? It always cost a few creds, but back in the day, that main drag was essentially just nerds and runners. That's who was there. That's who founded this space. That's who created this space. That's who coded this space. And so as it became corporatized and commercialized and capitalized upon, now that main entrance area where everything dumps into becomes valuable. And so many of the originators of this space, of this tech, sold off various digital rights that they had, and made a mint. They walked away with buku bucks. And as you make your way towards that main drag and down an alleyway, at least from the audience perspective, what we notice is that over and over and over, though 2600 seems to occupy some sort of null space, the entrance is always steps away from the main drag. So whatever null space it occupies, its entrance seems to always get priority as far as service within the net.
Interesting.
As you walk through the wall of the alleyway, passing through this portal-esque thing that connects you to whatever Club 2600 is, you into that space. And one of the things you immediately notice, the tone of the club is, the music is a bit more aggressive than it normally is, and the club is a little bit red in its coloring. So there are more people, there are more avatars in this club than you've seen before. Troy is a sentient calculator. It's not complicated. With your addition, with the addition of your avatar, there are now 15 avatars in this club.
Wow. All right. Well, taking note of this, Troy is going to start looking for a few of his familiar faces, such as, is Grim around?
As you enter the space, I don't even need a notice roll for this.
Okay.
As you enter the space, starting from your left, you see Grim away from his usual bar stool, away from his usual place of business. He's in the left-hand corner of the club, standing there nursing the remnants of a drink. As we've said before, drugs and alcohol in the net can take on a variety of interesting characteristics. Some of them could just literally be a digital code base that is influencing the neural pathways of somebody who has the appropriate kit. Or you could literally in meat space be getting a drink due to your net running chair, depending on if you have this stuff hooked up. So one way or another, Grim is over there getting a little buzzed as Troy sweeps his eyes across this group. There are all sorts of avatars at play here, shifting, flowing, chaotic symbols, cloaked figures, humanoid figures, neon lights, plant, druidic-based sort of avatars. As you sweep through, you do see a face that you haven't seen in a minute, and you see Motoko, who sees you enter and immediately gives you... Give me a roll.
A 0.
He looks angry-ish, right? Immediately looking away from you and going back to his conversation. As you sweep through this group, the bartender construct is still at the bar, and on the top level, you see Rez and Passerby. Passerby sitting in his booth where he traditionally holds court, but Rez standing next to him, standing over him, and you can see the gestures, but give me a roll.
That's a +1.
You cannot see their mouths moving, and either due to some other thing or the space or the music in the space itself, you cannot hear what is being said.
All right. Taking note of all of this, Troy continues to make his way over to Grim. And Troy's just standard social generative programming is booting up as he prepares to go talk to Grim, and he starts the conversation with Grim saying, "Greetings, Grim Dick. I've noticed that the club is in an unusually different mood today. Something occurred."
Yeah. I mean, as far as the club's mood, that's somebody else's business. But these people, as he's gesturing with his drink hand, a little more loose than he normally is in his movements. As he gestures with his drink hand, this lot, they're just excited about recent events, that's all. So, how have you been? As he says, Ben. When he hits that B on Ben, he gets interrupted. A vaguely androtic humanoid figure. Missing eyes, missing ears, missing a mouth. Just a vague humanoid shape. Almost plastique in nature, with neon flowing, shifting color patterns up and down in lines, in the arms, in the hands, in the head, the body, the legs, comes over with a certain force of movement, and you can see the trail of the lights behind it. As these lights move through the space in the net, they leave behind a trailing effect. And this avatar immediately approaches, and as Grim says, "How have you been?" Grim! Grim, what's up? You doing any epic runs lately? I've told you before. I'm going to tell you again. I wonder if I'll be able to tell you sometime in the future. But the fewer people that know about your epic runs and the jobs that you do means the fewer people that get tortured and murdered when they come looking for you, inevitably, Pulse. Neon Pulse, Troybot. Troybot, Neon Pulse. Pulse, maybe Troybot here doesn't give a shit about the people around him the same way you don't give a shit about the people around you. And he'll talk to you about some epic runs he's done. In the meantime, I'm going to go fill my drink. And Grim starts walking off towards the bar. Give me a notice roll.
That is a 0.
What is your notice?
My notice is 1. So, a 1.
You can see, just out of your periphery, the motion of Grim just doing that, pointing at his drink and just doing this. Clearly indicating that just keep filling it. Just keep filling it. And as he drifts off to the bar, Pulse takes a look at you and immediately, like, leans in close, like way, way too close, and just gets right up on you and just starts going, holy shit, you are a hell of a modeler, my man. Wow, you look exactly like this. You don't even look like the corporate version that they sell. This has to be a custom job, right? Wow, and you see him quickly on his deck, and then just a flick of the fingers, and there's a hologram model of a real Troybot next to you, and he is now doing spot for spot comparisons, and he's looking at you going, holy shit, and he's reaching up and grabbing the fabric of your tux, of your suit, and he's looking at the warp and weft, and now he's like, holy shit, and he's like, this fabric reacts exactly like, wow, you have some hella badass modeling skills, my man.
Thank you. The Troy avatar was accomplished through inferential modeling, and the accessories were complements of passerby.
Oh, well, that explains that. Well, don't tell him I complimented it then. Can't have that guy's head getting any bigger.
Troy looks up and just notices that passerby's head is pretty proportional, and states his head appears to be proportional for human standards.
Super literal. Okay, cool. And he waves his hand, and the hologram dissipates. He's like, so, like, what kind of runs are you into, man? What do you do? What's your deal? What's your gig?
Troy actually thinks about that for a minute and states, I'm still determining where my expertise and niches lie.
Whoa. Wait a second. Do we have a noob in our club?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
I don't talk to noobs. You, like, what kind of runs have you done? What is your experience?
Looking over to Grim, and what Grim had just stated, and says, I don't believe it is permissible for me to be frank.
I mean, that's his rule. Look, as long as you don't get caught, if you're good enough, you lead enough, you won't fucking get caught. And then it doesn't really matter who comes looking for you if there's no data trail to come looking for. He's just a crotchety old miser. That's it. He doesn't know how to have any fun. He's in it for the creds.
Have you been on a run?
Yeah, of course. I think we all have. You. With this commotion that is starting to occur in this corner, another avatar begins to approach. As the avatar approaches, you see an ethereal, almost elf-like figure that is covered in flora, that is covered in plants and vines. And as the avatar steps, where the feet were, there are moss footprints left behind that trail for a little while afterwards. Pulse, what are you doing? I'm just trying to get to know our new noob over here. I'm sorry. Is there someone lacking experience here?
I do not believe I should. I do not believe it would be appropriate for me to inform you of my level of experience.
Either incredibly new and mildly embarrassed, or wise. Who's to say?
Pulse, Neon Pulse over here was just about to inform me of their latest adventure.
As this is occurring, Grim, having seen that it is no longer just Pulse, begins approaching back again. Drew! Grim being a little looser now, having definitely put back one at the bar and having another in his hand. Troybot, Cyberdruid. Cydrew, Troybot. Nah, now that introductions are made. So, talk of the town are we now?
I do seem to be gaining a lot of attention.
Yeah. This lot enjoys anything novel, anything new that they haven't experienced before. They immediately come out of the woodwork. No offense, Drew.
I've noticed an unusual number in the club lately. Has your repertoire of potential runners been increasing?
Oh no, these have all been members for a while, but not everybody hangs out at the club. Not everybody comes around all the time. It is what it is. And Drew goes, yes. The membership has been riled by recent events.
Troy, just kind of jogging his own memory a bit, asks, are you referring to the latest information released about public figures?
Oh, no, that's old news now. And besides, there's nothing to be learned there. We all knew their names.
What was the recent event? If you won't mind me asking.
Yeah. All three of them look at you with very, give me a roll.
Oh, Lord. That's a +1.
They are judging you. All three of them are now judging you. Yeah, where it was just Pulse, now Drew and even Grim are looking at you like you have three heads sort of situation. And Pulse just looks at you and goes, where the fuck have you been? I don't know. What are we talking about? I don't know. A worldwide data drop where everybody received 50 creds at a time and nobody knows what the code base is even for? Yeah. I wonder what we're excited about. Free money and a mystery. Yeah. I wonder what this group's interested in.
Realizing this, Troy or Troy now kind of realizes he wasn't quite properly making the connections and asks, do humans find that unusual? Oh boy, I might have just fucked up.
Cool. Pulse seems to not take note of this question. Grim doesn't even miss a beat, but Drew, on the other hand, looks at you for a long few seconds. And then, whether it is through a conscious decision to keep this under wraps, whether it is because this is potentially useful information, or whether Drew came to a different conclusion, it is not mentioned again, but Grim takes up the beat very quickly and goes, "Yeah, we are a curious species, aren't we? I wonder sometimes, too, whether humans are that intrigued, whether we're worth it or not. But, who's to say? Humans, right?"
Going by the various reactions of everyone just had, I think Troy kind of gets it.
Give me a roll.
All right. That is a +1.
Continue.
Okay. Kind of gets it and states, yes, indeed. I have been busy with personal matters, though I am aware of the puzzle pieces.
Drew, taking this, looks at Grim and goes, "So, what conclusion have you come to, Grim?" Grim looks at Drew and says, "You first." Very well. While I kept the code in containment, I haven't noticed any of the anomalies that others have been speaking of, but seeing as my sample set has been limited to one piece, I haven't necessarily put much time or effort or energy or cycles into studying and analyzing this conundrum that you all seem to have set forth for yourselves. Pulse, interjecting, goes, "Oh hell yeah, I got my 50 creds." Grim, standing there, just looks at him and looks back to Drew. And Drew goes, "All right, I went. Now you." Drew looks at you momentarily and goes, "Pay attention." Go ahead, Grim. Show the class how it's done. Well, all right, so I may have captured the code base and run it in a few different isolated instances. And from those instances, what I'm noticing is about 23% of them are putting out some sort of hashed data set in an irregular basis. As yet, the data set is indeterminate as to what it is, what it goes to, what it does. The creds I did receive for each instance. Of course, I routed those and washed them. Red Sea wouldn't even be able to find those creds. So ultimately, I don't know if the creds have a tracing system attached to it or not, because ultimately those creds are so far off grid at this point. There's no way to tell if there's a trace attached to them as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not going to clear net any of that anyway. But they do seem to be running in some sort of microservice process within people's systems. Now, that could be related to looking for further data drops, or that could be related to just a poorly coded code base that ultimately is just running indefinitely in the background because it's installed software. At this point, I'm not entirely sure. No one seems to be entirely sure, but given that there's 3 pieces remaining within this piece of software that has as yet had not presented itself, I'd assume that what it's looking for is the next 3 pieces, and to be exposed to this augmented reality code base in some form or fashion. So there's an initial code base drop that occurs, and then there's updates that it can detect when it comes across them, and then do what it's been instructed to do. I've started reverse engineering the code, but frankly, it's well written. So that nullifies the previous iteration of the theory that it's a possibly poor code base that's just running indefinitely. I think whoever wrote this knows what they're doing, but that's just me. Drew looks at you, looks at Pulse, and says, and that is how that's done.
Troy's keeping a recording of that and kind of just stashing that away for later when he starts getting a little bit better at this. And then he asks, do you know who might have been responsible for this?
You, me, them, us, who knows?
I will have to consider this for later when I can begin returning to work on that project.
Drew leans in and just goes, that's grim for he's not sure.
I was able to infer that.
Drew pats you on the head.
Troy looks back up to Grim and asks, is now a good time where we may be able to, where I may be able to speak frankly with you, or perhaps I should return at another time?
I mean, with this lot in here, there's no I mean, if you want, look, you can speak frankly with me in front of these people if you'd like. That's up to you.
Just looking at Neon Pulse and Druid, Troy looks back up to Grim and states, would we be able to speak privately, or?
We could probably arrange that. As he says that, Pulse attempts to put his arm around Drew's avatar. And you can see he goes, come on, let's get a drink. And as he does that, thorns just instantly come up from the shoulders. And he immediately recoils his arm. And Drew just looks at Pulse and goes, oh, my apologies. Reactive armor. It is what it is. And give me a roll.
That is a -1.
You do not see the quick glance between Drew and Grim as they just very quickly look at each other. I think it's probably best if we give these two some space, and I've spent enough time in the club today. Pulse, why don't you do something productive with your time for once? Pulse looks at Drew and goes, oh, hell no. Going back to talk to the others. Pulse turns around and just, later, Grim. Right? And the trails of light leading back to the group. And Drew just looks at Grim and gives him a solemn nod and looks at you and says, "If we meet again." And there's vines that come up and encircle Drew. And then they come back down to the floor, and Drew's no longer there.
Troy just kind of stares at that spot that True just disappeared at with some fascination, and begins to just ponder how he might start to do something like that someday, before looking back up to Grim.
The club tone starts to just shift a little. You can see the color start to soften into a bit of a purple, into a blue. Give me a roll.
That's a -1.
There's a hand on your shoulder.
Troy turns around.
Standing there is Rez. And she says, "Hello. Hey there, Troy. How you doing?"
Rez, you were one of the people I wanted to talk to.
"Oh, well, aren't I popular today?" And Grim looks at Rez and goes, You done being a school marm to passerby?" Rez just shoots him daggers.
Troy just doesn't say anything and states, may I speak with either of you privately?
Rez opens her deck. You see her hand move a little bit. And the music dulls. As if it's on the other side of something.
I assume like something just got lifted up around them or something. Does it appear to be anything?
Do you want to ask narratively? Do you want to roll?
I'll roll.
Okay.
That's a 0. Something. I'm guessing he doesn't notice anything then.
I mean, he notices.
Notices that
but the
music's
inference of what that may or may not entail, what it is.
Troy just looks around for a moment and asks, "Is now a good time?"
Grim catches Rez's eye and just does a very mild back and forth with his head and takes another sip off, just draw off that drink. And Rez looks at you and goes, "Yes, now's fine."
I have one of the main reasons why I have not both appeared here lately and have not asked about the current puzzle pieces is I have been particularly busy with an upcoming potential run, and I'm here to seek advice.
Grim reaches out and grabs your shoulders and gives you like a squeeze and a shake and goes, "Hey, look at him out there getting a job, working like a grown man. All right, tell us about us. What you got? What you got going on? Come on." Grim, looser than he normally is, who's very much business every time you've encountered him. Rez just sort of glancing down at the drink that has just hovered as he let go of it.
Troy kind of shakes, feels kind of a shock from all that. Sensations for him are kind of more actualized on the net than they are in the Troy body, since the Troy body is just this sort of layer of data to him. So it just kind of shivers a little bit after Grim finishes shaking him a little bit and states, "Are you aware of a store called the Home Emporium?"
You see both of them very quickly, just a couple of swipes. I am now.
We have received a job that may require me to potentially disable security systems within the home emporium. I have scouted both my associates have scouted the physical location, and I have just finished scouting the digital location. And I had a few questions about... Sorry. I had a few questions about a proper plan of attack.
Yep. Nope. Don't care. This is school marm territory. You want to hold his hand? Hold his hand. Good luck. Yeah. Whatever. Yep. Coming. And Grim literally just walks across the club really quickly.
Troy just turns back to Rez and states, "I do not believe I need my hand held for this. I am simply just seeking advice."
Well, for some of the more experienced in here, asking for advice would be seen as a sign of weakness.
Why?
Because their egos are tied to knowing everything.
This is a phenomenon that has eluded me, though I have noticed it in nearly every single person I have interacted with.
So, what do you need to know?
I've noticed that the security, that the outside security for the online location for the Home Emporium appears to be less than other places that I have net run before, though I have not taken a step in. I've also noticed that some of my tools are not as fast as I expected them to be.
So, what is the question?
What would my best approach be? Should I simply just run in? With the proper protections enabled, of course. Is it worth it to disable the cameras using Raven? Or would it just be better to ignore them?
Do you know what lies on the other side?
I do not.
Do you know what kind of security response will occur?
Online? No.
In the real world?
I believe there are a private security force that may come and attempt to intervene with anyone at the physical location.
Private security forces come in many flavors and many types. Who is providing the private security?
EcoSec appears to be the proprietor. Wait. Oh. Shit, I wrote the wrong thing. I wrote Conosec. Was it Econosec?
It was Econosec and FlexPrice. FlexPrice is offsite for response. Econosec is the offsite sysadmin.
Okay. Econosec for on-site security, and FlexPrice for system administration security. What? Oh God, what am I doing? Oh man.
Flip it around. You have the other. You have them in the wrong place.
Wait. Econosec for system administration security, and Flex Prize for physical security.
Have you done any research into either of these entities?
I have not, no.
Ah. Okay.
I believe I am beginning to see where Grimm's frustrations are coming from.
So I would say, since you are after advice, that the first place to start would be to figure out the nature of the security companies that have been contracted to. That can tell you what kind of resistance you may be up against, both physical and digital. Do you know anything about the on-site?
We know that there are numerous security cameras there. And we know that there is numerous automated drones. There does not appear to be any other detectable form of security beyond a couple of shutter walls over the exits.
What about the on-site digital security?
They appear to use humans and net running rigs for all on-site digital control.
How large of a staff do they operate to control those systems?
There appears to only be one.
Okay. So, my advice to you would be to think about what you're looking at. Look at the big picture. Figure out what is the nature of those security companies. Put that together with the clearly understaffed facility and see if you can't comprise some sort of threat analysis from that. Then you can make at least an educated guess as to how you should approach this. Now, as for should you just allow cameras to record your activity, whether physical or digital, unless you are intending to deceive someone, it is always best to remove oneself from the digital and real-world data trails.
I believe I understand. Thank you. I will consider your advice.
Okay. Anything else?
For now, no. Thank you, and my apologies.
You're welcome, and good luck. I hope to hear that it was a successful run.
I do as well. And with that, Troy leads the club.
Okay.
And now he's going to start doing some search. First thing he's going to do is he's going to start doing some research on highlight those. Flex Prize. And he's going to be doing that research as he's making his way back to the server that he set up back at home base.
Okay, give me a roll.
All right. That's a +1.
What's your investigate?
A 1.
What's your lore?
I do not have lore, so 0.
Okay, so we'll go with investigate. Flex Prize is one of the most demographically dominant rent-a-cop security contractors in the city. While they do have some moderate response units that they are capable of deploying, fundamentally Flex Prize is very much rent-a-cop security guard territory. They are often used as on-site security for those that wish to contract for them in that way. But they also do response units that occasionally are known to get into gunfights with people, but for the most part, they deal with low level to very moderate level criminality within the city. And generally, they consult with, and on their website, they talk about how they consult with and coordinate with NSFPD for detain and turnover.
All right. And now, while he's still walking, he's going to search up Reconnaissance.
Give me a roll.
That's a -2.
Econosec has less of a net presence at the current time. What net presence they do have seems to indicate a startup company. Details beyond that really aren't forthcoming as far as their net presence goes, but that's what you get. They have a their address is clearly indicated as a suite that is out in the corporate commons, and that's about, you get contact information, and that's about it. It seems to provide off-site sysadministration capabilities for those that are looking for moderately priced services.
So they're a budget service to some extent. All right. I think for now, Troy will log off.
As Troy logs off, we find ourselves back with Karen and Patty. What are you two off to do?
Just passing by like one spot, and it's just playing them making my way downtown as we're moving. And Patty says, "Okay, so quick question: is my face still burnt, or are we like finally cooled down?"
The face is, well, hold on. Let's see. No, you are still pink,
Okay.
and missing eyebrows. As you two are, where are you walking?
To the central terminal.
Okay. All right. So, as you guys make your way to the central terminal, what are you doing?
Patty is throwing the, so do you want me to come in first, pull off that whole like full bitch move, and I can pull on the whole burnt face, look like I've had a bad day, look like an asshole, then you can like slide in before I go off, and then I go off, you manage to look cooler in the process?
They already know me, so you can mostly just hang out.
Alright.
Yeah.
I was just saying if you need me to go like full flow on it, or you needed me to like chill out.
Honestly, your burnt face is mostly what I want. Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of think I'm going to create some bullshit story about why your face got fucked up. Something to do with the business. Who knows?
Alright, cool. I'm just gonna go in, just look like I'm real fucking down on my luck shit. Just basically had a shit day, and you're coming in at the same time?
Yes. Mostly, I'm just wanting to talk to the bartender, probably. See who
Alright.
else is there.
No problem. I can do that.
Krill, while the central station looms over these two, like a beacon in the city, this constant stream of arrivals and departures as they're headed their way out. What is Krill doing?
We see the lights of a train just come across the camera as it fades into Krill's helmet over her. Her 6 LED eyes ignited through it. All right. Now it's time to actually get serious. Thank you, Karen, for getting her out of my space for a moment so I could think. Krill immediately goes underneath one of the counters and pulls out a box from an experiment she had started, so many days ago. With a magnifying glass in front of it, she stares down at the nanites she had started working on.
Okay.
All right. Time to start making upgrades. And you are going to be my perfect little helpers. Krill immediately starts running through diagnostics to get them into, rather than a self-replicating protocol, but a protocol to start building other micro-constructors, like the arms on the table. We have a pair of 2 right now. She needs 6 ready, not just the 2. So 4 more are going to be constructed, and these are going to help her.
Give me your roll.
Absolutely. That's a +1 on the die.
You quickly find that the nanoparticles are far more complicated to interface with than you initially presumed.
Do I need a booster to work with them, maybe? Central nodule. You think the upgrades I just made would make it a bit easier to network with them?
Just as Krill's starting to ponder, Troy walks in and notices that Krill's working on something and asks, "Is there anything I can do to help?"
Oh, thank you. I'm actually appreciative it's you about rarely seeing your body nowadays.
You have seen me numerous times.
Just the last few, you've been very much so. In the base itself. But all the same, I'm working on these nanite drones I've been designing, but they're not taking to command very well. I'm considering maybe a network booster or a range control. But if you have any input, I would love to hear.
Nanite technology is a bit out of my purview, although perhaps I can operate as a network booster.
That could be exceptionally useful if that will work. I thought the network booster I already have, and she gestures to the spinal columns going up to her neck. I thought it would be enough, but apparently not. You have... How much networking capability do you have?
I have a high-capacity network capability. I am designed to interface with numerous forms of wireless and physical network locations, and though my original design was to just interface with entertainment modules, I have learned that I have been able to exceed my uh-oh.
Huh?
Oh, no, you're back. Okay. I have been able to exceed my intended function.
Well, it's worth a try at least. I will at least give you an example of my coding process. And, not too sure what that refers to, but all right.
I'm not a big enough weeb.
I know
I
this one.
watched that episode.
Yep. I have no weeb credentials, and I know this one. It doesn't matter. Keep going.
Okay.
All right. Let's see if you can surpass what you were designed for. And Krill sends Troy the structure that she is designed to command these nanites. Now, Troy, have you interacted with any of Krill's tech except for overriding? Have you actually, gone in tandem with her tech or only override?
I believe I have only ever written. I don't believe I have interacted with your tech too often.
Do you open it?
Yes, Troy immediately opens the file.
Instead of seeing what you expect, lines of code, hub design, things like that, you're looking at the equivalent of strands, almost like webbing all around you. Cylinders of data connecting in random places, and larger ones like vines reaching to the ceiling. Each one of these seem to have a hexanary system to them instead of a binary. It's real. It's stupid, but
You
it's
mean
real.
hexadecimal?
Yeah, that's probably the proper word for it. I like hexanary, but okay. Hexadecimal. Each one of them having 6 nodes to them with specific characters of each.
This is
None of these. Sorry, I was just gonna say none of them are in. Go ahead.
Out of character,
Sorry.
this is pertaining to what Krill's making, right, on the crafting table?
This is Krill's coding style. Remember when I said she codes like an idiot to the point that it would actually be difficult for someone to understand? Because she doesn't code. These are spiraling like DNA strands more than they are lines of code.
Just as Troy's looking at this, he's just kind of, frantically looking around, just turning and twisting these various cylinders of code, trying to piece together what any of this means. And he looks over at Krill and states, "Your coding is rather esoteric."
Thank you. I don't understand simple coding the same way. Like, I can interact with it, but it never feels fluid enough. It never feels like the way that a brain or nervous systems interact to me. It feels too procedural, when in reality, living things think in this chaotic bloom. And I've tried my hardest to recreate that. And I've found that it's been effective with my drones and such in developing them. Now, it does make it faulty as I can't get all of my tech to work the way I would love it to, but it's something. Now, my nanites this may be why I can't work with these nanites. I'm not using any nanite platform already created. These have been deconstructed and reconstructed off the nanites we found in the dust on the floor. But they are still my design, but they're not working.
I am unable to make personally. I am unable to make any conclusive conclusion based upon your code. You would know this better than I do, but perhaps I can operate as a processor and further facilitate the network.
Yeah. how about I also show you quickly?
As
And go ahead.
as this scene of explanation unfolds between you two, where in our journey with Karen and Patty have we managed to get to?
We're probably just getting off at the end closest to the neighbor's bar in the main street.
Okay.
So, you see the doors open up as they step out and just begin to make their way along. And Patty's stretching a little bit. All right, so how corporate does home look exactly? Because I've never actually been there.
Karen is typing on her codex. And, just a second. Here it is. Thought I was prepared, sorry. She sends this text to our the contact Patty sent us, and it says, "Thanks for the tossing Patty a glow up. She needed the W. Let me know if you have another gig. Could always use the guap."
Patty's like turning. Hey, you good? You seem a little focused.
What?
All right, whatever. Patty just begins to follow a way out, and eventually, like circling around, finally getting a view of that home emporium. She's like, "God damn, that is a fucking eyesore."
You can see the whole neighborhood, can't you?
I feel like I can see the fucking cracks in the ground with that shit.
Yeah,
Alright,
I once had a tooth pulled across from a store just like this.
gotcha. Alright, well, I'm gonna be glad we're fucking with this place then. Fuck that. Cool. So, which way's the bar?
To the right.
Cool. Patty just starts walking, seeing the bar, and just, alright, time to be a bit of a bitch. And Patty slings the bag instead of over two shoulders. She's got one, so she's kind of trying to put that exhausted look, and she's got the cold stare, so she just opens the door, just walks straight to the bar, sets the bag down in front of her feet, and just kind of leans over the bar.
Follows in, sits right next to her.
The burly-headed, bearded, white-teed, aproned proprietor of the establishment turns around, cleaning the ubiquitous glass, and takes one look at Patty's face and goes, "What can I get you?
2 to start.
Beer or beer or beer or whiskey?"
I
I'll take a
recommend
beer.
All right. Drafts out a couple of beers, pushes them across you. Looks like you might need that, huh?
Yeah. Patty takes off the sunglasses, and you can see the green eyebrows now. Let's just say it wasn't a good fucking day.
I mean, whoever did that to you, hopefully you made him bleed a little bit.
Yeah, I did.
On the job hazards are always fun, aren't they?
Oh, hey, I remember you.
Hey, Hank?
Yeah, I don't know if I caught your name.
No, I don't think he did.
All right, well, Miss Nameless, you drinking?
These are mine. What do you... Hey, get your own shit.
Yes, I'll have my own, I guess.
Yeah, no, she clearly needs both those.
Yeah, well, when you get sunburnt on a fucking run.
Maybe give me a roll.
All right. We're trying to lie our way through this. either way. -1. So
What's your deception?
0. So basically, what he's picking up is Patty probably either looks like she's full of shit or she looks like she's trying to hide what actually happened.
Oh, no. This is not a sunburn. Sunburns don't burn off your eyebrows.
Yeah, I know. Patty's
Right.
trying to
Yeah,
fucking sell it.
I know what Patty's trying to sell, but as the bartender, eyebrows don't get sunburned off. So
I know.
he clearly sees this and just like squints at you a little, like, and draws a beer out, puts it in front of, and one for Miss Nameless.
Thanks.
So, can I get you anything else, or?
Oh. Thought I'd maybe bend your ear a little if you didn't mind. Karen looks around. Who else is in here?
There's a short, stocky, sort of like clean shaven head, guy like a little further down the bar with this sort of, I don't know, you know those guys with like the perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, right? That just fucking shave and sort of thing. Wearing work clothes, seems to have come straight to the bar after work. You can still see the coveralls. And there's a woman a little further down the other way, athletic build, shoulder length brown hair, jean hoodies, casual, just sort of sitting there nursing a beer.
Real busy in here, if you don't mind. I wouldn't mind talking to you a little.
You pay well, you tip well, you get good service.
I was gonna say it's the best shitty beer I've had in a while.
Definitely has a hint of flavor that I didn't know I missed. No, when we were here earlier, you're being awful nice to the little friend over in the booth. Alex?
Neighborhood's got to look after itself.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Now, we, being a person who's unnamed, we might be here with a particular job in mind, somewhat community-oriented, and maybe somewhat involving Alex. And if we could do it the right way, I'd like to make sure that Alex is all right at the end of this. It kind of seemed like he was having a hard time. Do you know what that was about, if you don't mind me asking?
Give me a roll. One of your few rolls. Give me a roll.
+1.
What's your rapport look like?
+4.
That's what I thought. Well, seeing as how you're asking after Alex, and Alex doesn't have anything to do with anything, clearly you're asking after a particular business within this community. Now, in the short term, if something were to happen to that business, it might be bad for this neighborhood. But in the long term, who knows? Maybe it's a cancer that needs cutting out. Maybe it was the fresh cells being brought in to revitalize this neighborhood. I'm too old to know the difference between that. Now, you say you've got a job to do. We all got jobs to do. Why don't you go ahead and ask me, Little Miss Nameless, what it is you want to ask me?
How might I be able to help Alex not care about this current job they have anymore?
Well, given that he's supporting his family and he's trying to get an education in a city that it costs you creds to take a single breath, to flush a toilet, to turn a corner, I'd say the thing that old Alex needs is, short of a pocket full of creds, is at least an opportunity at a pocket full of creds. Because, near as I can tell, the only thing that makes this city and this world go round is creds. That job means his sister gets taken care of. That job means he might one day get out of this neighborhood and get his family out of this neighborhood.
Now I take it seems like you know Alex pretty well. What might he have to sell other than his current position?
He's a smart kid, but he's young, he's inexperienced, and he's still finding himself in this world. So probably not a whole lot.
Okay. Wow.
I have a quick question, Kai. So likely Karen gave like a heads up to Patty where they had saw Alex earlier. Is he still there or is gone at this point?
He is no longer there.
Okay. And there's, based on the descriptions given by them earlier, probably there's nobody new at the bar, just same people.
There is no one that you're aware of that works at this place. Like, this is sort of, give me make your way around the bar, talk to people. You don't know anything. You just showed up and you have
Probably
spoken to no one in this bar.
Yeah. Patty's not picking up shit. She's kind of focused on the conversation at this point. So she's listening in, trying not to instantly shut off her tongue and get everybody to hate her. So
Well, I have some things I could maybe try, but I appreciate you talking to me. Alex does seem like a good enough kid.
It's a good enough neighborhood. It's full of good enough people. So, if you do what it is I think you might be contracted to do, I don't think neither you nor I know what the outcome of that contract will be.
No, we don't.
World's a funny place like that.
Yeah. Any advice for somebody who's trying not to make as much of a mess as possible?
Every time I've ever tried not to make a mess, I ended up making more of a mess.
Good. I'm still in the same reality then. All right. All right.
If I may ask one favor, which you do not owe me, give me a heads up before.
I think I can do that.
Fair enough. Good luck.
Thanks. I think we need it.
Try not to leave a smoking crater in my backyard.
Can we leave a crater?
No smoke.
Fair enough.
Karen chugs the last of her beer, slams it on the table. Oh,
Ugh.
God. I never thought I would miss that flavor.
Okay, I gotta ask one question before I go. You go with like shitty sewer water or like the top-notch shitty rainwater?
It's recycled piss.
Hey, you know what?
I knew
That's
it!
new. That's good
I
shit.
knew it! I knew this flavor. Thank you.
Top-notch. You know what? All right, we got Nameless here, but you can call me Sunburn for the moment until my face is better.
Okay, Sunburn.
All right. Well, thanks for the recycled piss. Puts the backpack on. You need anything else before we go?
You don't have extra eyebrows laying around back there, do you?
No, I'm sorry. The sun burned off my extra pair.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah, me too.
Well, you take care, Mr. Hank.
You too, Ms. Nameless. As you exit Neighbor's Bar, the door swings shut, and we find ourselves back at the base with our technical crew.
I think, Troy, it's time that you learn me so that you can understand all of this. And I feel like it will only benefit us as a team. Will you let me?
Proceed.
Interface with the table, and I will at the same time. And follow my lead.
Troy just places a hand on the table and interfaces it through the network.
And as you do, you first initially see the table's just basic systems, hard scale room. Almost like you're standing in a cube. But it all suddenly washes away as the strands from before come down quickly and start to enrapture both of them. You're in the middle, and you can see Krill to your side, but only barely in the low light of these glowing veins, vines, strands, tubes, whatever you want to describe them as as they start to writhe and come down to a central node in front of you. And as it fills up, it's like a flower with a pool sitting in the middle. And in the middle, you can see command prompts in a weird language quickly come and disappear. None seem to be in a particular order, but all are firing off almost simultaneously in one way or another. You see glowing lights quickly dance along the vines and run to this central node, one after another, as some leave the node and go back up. I'm sure this is all a little alien to you.
Alien would be an apt word to describe this. I have never seen a style of code and processing like this before.
Here, let me give you a different view. And as Krill just pulls her hands in, all of the lines quickly start to scale down and pass you quickly. And you see what looks to be a brain sitting in her palm.
This appears to be some more advanced form of inferential processing.
This is the only way I can seem to work. It feels more intuitive to me, more natural.
I must
Makes me
admit,
feel-
I'm having difficulty making sense of it. It too closely resembles organic processes.
Then
And
let
it
me
is
try and
something
help you. Give me your hand.
Troy offers over his hand.
As you touch, you are suddenly transferred data. All your eyes are suddenly flooded with hexagons, each corner of them with a character you can't recognize. And as you see all of them pass you quickly, another lineup of the characters start to show. But they stop as each one starts to translate with phonemes and syllables and singular letters and numbers if needed. And with Troy's incredible brain, I'm sure this would start to translate fast enough.
There are things that are beginning to make sense in his head now. He's still at a disadvantage because this is something that is far out of his purview. Something that could honestly only really truly be comprehended probably by a mind as esoteric as Krill's, but he's beginning to be able to piece together some pieces.
Now, give it a command. If you translate it, that syllable there, that symbol, that is the end of a word. That symbol is the end of a command. Fit them along hexanary patterns, and it will work.
Looking over back to the table, Troy holds his hand over to it and releases a command and commands one of the arms to just kind of draw a figure 8 in the air. Not like not use any substance, but just draw. Move in a figure 8 pattern.
And as you think that, you don't write it out, but as you think that, you start seeing a tube in front of you filled with this data, and it launches down to the central node.
Give me a roll.
Mere Krill.
Both.
Alright. I got a -3.
I got a 0.
We're doing good.
Narrate
See,
your
I do
failure.
like
Alright.
hexanary better.
Okay, so yeah, Troy's beginning to figure out how to make this work, but this command process that Krill has devised is really foreign to him.
Oh,
No.
are you back?
No, he's
I mean,
still
that-
frozen.
Oh shit! Am I here now?
Yep.
Okay.
Nope.
Well,
Uh,
we've proven it. Krill's too complicated. It is broken,
Here we
Troy.
go again.
You're still frozen, mate.
try turning off your camera and then turning back on.
We
Yes. Tenuous.
sorry. You guys kept freezing for me. I'm assuming I kept freezing for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So he already has a hard enough time understanding the abstractions that is higher level human languages. And this is an even more weirder level of abstraction that he's not familiar with. So when he tries to execute this command, the code, instead of flying out into the printer device arm things, kind of spills out into like a big old pile of code dust.
You know what? That was a great try. This is one of the few things that makes me feel safe that many could not understand it with ease. I know any good hacker, given enough time, would be able to translate my work like it was child's play. But it keeps your average Joe completely befuddled. You, in time, I don't think you'll have any issue. You're able to attack the hardware layer of my drones anyways and take control. I'm sure any strong enough hacker could also do that. Just surpass any of my command.
Perhaps then I should just be best helping to facilitate the transfer of your code. It seems I still have much to learn on how to execute your style.
Be honest, I can't execute the style most humans use. Like, I can a little, but I am no hacker. I create. And this is a form of fluid creation for me.
Then proceed. And I will maintain a status on the network to further facilitate the execution of your code. Perhaps then you will have a higher chance of success.
All right.
And I'm
Let's
going
see if
to be trying to. This is mechanically. This is me trying to help Krill and add a +2 to her next roll.
+1.
+1. Thank you. Sorry.
All right. It's just a +1 on the die again, so that's a total of, what is the +1? That's a +6?
The nanites do not respond.
I'm going to do a bit of research real quick here. Hopefully I can find something about what nanites need to be commanded. If they need to be pre-programmed or they can take live commands or any of that. They're mechanically rebuilt, but I don't know how to actually make them go.
Very well. I have other research that I need to attend to as well.
Appreciate it. In the meantime, I'm going to get the table working on other micro producers, but that'll just take more time. I was really hoping we could get these working fast. I'm going to set the table up to make some copies of itself, at the very least, of its arms.
Give me a roll.
Yep. Please. Oh, come on. It's another +1.
The table does not possess its own schematics.
There. I'm sure Krill would have something in her backlog for microprocessors, but What's faster, trying to find one that's works and reliable, or her to just take an arm off and get it scanning? We need more arms. We actually do. All right. Krill walks to the other room, grabbing her hand tools, and goes to carefully remove one arm from the table.
Give me your roll.
This is the shit she knows how to do. Fuck off. It's a total of 3.
I will let you decide. You can fail, or you can succeed at a cost.
Succeed at a cost.
You manage to get the arm off, but one of the attachment point for it is damaged in the process.
Yep.
The arm is intact, as it would need to be, but the receiving connector for the arm has now damage. It's not too severe, but it is damaged.
Krill turns to Troy, her eyes flickering in orange to reds as they quickly go back to their blue. I can work. Thanks so much for your help.
Let me know if you need any further help.
I will.
So, how far out are Patty and Karen at this point?
What are you thinking?
We're on the train heading back towards Central.
Patty is probably thinking about it a little bit, and she's like, I know we were thinking about Pink, based on how Krill was acting, getting shit for us. What if instead of getting shit for us, because we could probably just buy what we need, what if we just fucking steal shit and then have it sold off as scrap for Alex? This way you can get like that baseline so he can shoot himself into another job.
What Alex needs more than anything isn't money. It's an open door.
So basically what we need to do is get him a connection that works for him and makes it easier for him to cover his life without killing himself.
Yeah.
I mean, you know any random fucking people that need security control?
It's not about needing security control. It's about needing a willing body who's young and not broken yet.
Yeah.
I think it might be time for me to check in with somebody. I could also ask them.
Anyone in particular?
Miss V.
Are we getting... Okay, Patty's listening and she's like, okay, are we getting the V done shit first, or are we getting this job done first? Are we gonna get that and then this?
Oh, her thing is in the process. This is much more urgent.
Okay. So we're thinking strain the system without Alex being there so we can do what we need to do.
If we can pressure Alex to see our ways of things, that would be best.
Okay.
If I can just help Alex in general, I would like to do that. But we do have our priorities.
Yeah.
We can't hold the hand of literally everyone we meet. Then we wouldn't
can't.
do anything.
But if we can get it done, we can get it done.
It's worth trying.
Yeah. You want to give her a call?
Yeah.
All right. I'll move over, give you some space. And Patty just scoots a bit over to give her some immediate privacy and kind of gives a little bit of that mean mug to anybody close by. They're like, if you're getting too close, she's just trying to give that stare of don't get too close to Karen in this moment.
Karen pulls out her codex and doesn't call Miss V. She sends a message saying, "Can I stop by the club and chat for a minute?"
A few moments go by, and then you receive one back that says, "Of course, dear."
Beautiful. We're gonna swing by, Patty.
All right. Patty moves back over. And how far is it to the club from the route we're coming from Home Emporium?
Remember where hers is.
God, it's been forever since we've been there. I'm trying to see if there's club popping up, but nothing popping up on it. And anybody remember the fucking name of our club?
There it is. It's really close, actually. Lost
Okay.
Innocence.
Oh, sweet. There we go.
Yes, I was like, I know it's right here. I'm just not clicking the right one.
Yeah,
Cool. We are like right there.
Sweet.
Given the fact that you actually were headed back to Central Terminal, you now have to change trains and go back out the way you came in, basically. Not quite the same way you came in, but you definitely now have to change trains at Central Terminal and head right on back out towards another thing entirely. Yes. So as Patty and Karen make their way out to Lost Innocence, the operating headquarters of the Little Angels, run by one Miss Vivian. What is Troy up to?
Troy is seeing if he can search up any additional information on Flex Prize and Econosec first thing.
Give me a roll.
All right. That's a 0.
Nothing is what you gathered if your initial net search is basically what you've got. Nothing is for coming really forward. There's some reviews. I mean, there's a lot of reviews of Flex Prize, and they're all over the board. I mean, there's 1 stars, 3 stars, 5 star sort of reviews for this place. Convenience store owners that have had Flex Prize successfully interrupt robberies love this place. People who have had to deal with Flex Prize have all sorts of complaints. So there's 1 star reviews all over the place. There's billing complaints, management complaints that are 1 starring. There's 3s in the middles, basically saying, it is what it is. You get what you pay for, sort of situation. Econosec, there's really only a couple of various press releases and pieces of information about it. It does seem to be relatively new, and it does seem to be some sort of venture startup providing off-site system administration services for a tier of clientele that can't normally afford it.
All right. On the Flex Prize reviews, Troy's going to sift through some of them. He's going to search a few keywords to see if he finds in both the positives and the negatives. He's looking for response time. How quickly do they respond? By customer review.
Give me 2 rolls.
Okay. -1 for the first one. And -2 for the second one.
Their response times are, there are a lot of comments. Flex Prize is a large organization, and there are a lot of reviews about this organization online. And fundamentally, there are 2 camps of comments. There are the ones where they showed up quickly and they are happy. And then there are the ones that complain about them taking forever to respond. There are comments about both.
So, in terms of response time, this could be a bit of a crapshoot. Not quite what Troy's inner monologue is. He's definitely saying it in a bit more of a literal sense, but variable response times. Are there any reviews that state how they called? Like pushing a button, phoning in.
Oh yeah.
An app.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's, I mean, there are comments all over the place about how one comment about how I use their app, their connected app, and it just, there's just a processing delay on it. There's others that are like, I call and I have to wade through the IVR, and I eventually speak to somebody, and by that point I've already been robbed, right, sort of thing. And then there are those that have, I've got them on automatic call, and as soon as the security system gets tripped, Flex Prize shows right up. And I've never had a problem with them whatsoever. Ignore all the rest of these comments.
I feel like I'm reading Amazon reviews.
Yep.
All right. Potential for... Just noting down a few potential things. Potential for slow response, but not a guarantee. I know there's not a lot of reviews for Reconnaissance, but just any kind of review, any comment from other sources besides just the bare bones information.
Give me a roll.
All right. That's a +1.
You find a discussion thread on a IT-related forum where they're discussing that there's this new startup, Iconosec, and if you get in and you pay this like larger lifetime fee, you can get a package deal that's a part of their sort of like early access funding. And some of them are saying, dude, you're paying for budget security and you're giving them a large upfront sum for a company that's not guaranteed to exist in a year, let alone 10 years. And then there's some that are saying, it's worth the gamble. And even at that price point, even if they provide me with some sort of security, it's still cheaper than the big boys. It's cheaper than bringing in Astra or Terminus to spec out your systems, right? You're going to what does it cost to hire an Astra runner to monitor your systems with a Terminus bodyguard at your gate, right? You're millions of creds in. So this layout is more accessible for, the consumer who's just trying to set some stuff up right now. And there's one guy in that comment thread, in that chain, who actually said, I did it. I jumped at the deal. So far, so good. But I haven't had anybody really take any swipes at my system, so I don't know. And then there's a bunch of people volunteering to take swipes at his system for him.
Chance. What's the username on that particular comment?
The one wanting to have it.
The one saying that no one's gone at it yet.
Eurostar 352.
Okay. Doesn't sound like anything that could relate or link to anyone, but who knows? All right. Roy breaks away from his current research and just briefly returns to Krill and asks, "Is there anything immediate that you might need my assistance with? Or may I leave for a moment?"
You see Krill underneath the table, trying to analyze how it's broken and how she can fix it. And she looks up, the biggest fuck this look on her face. "No, I'm set back right now. Honestly, you've got time."
"I am going to take the car, and I will be gone for a few moments."
Drive safe. Not that I think you won't.
I am programmed to drive safe.
Yeah. Just be careful out there. Are you doing anything dangerous?
We're about to find out.
I don't like that terminology. Can you bring Snips with you?
Can I?
You can. Just
Would-
don't take over him. You can ask him, and in fact, you can now speak his language to ask him, to be even more polite if you'd like.
Troy just looking over at the Snips, and his, recognition processes are saying that this is not a human, that he technically doesn't, which means he doesn't usually need to, and he just kind of concentrates for a moment, and suddenly the little scanning thing over him saying this is not human blips to green instead of red, recognizing it as human, I guess. And he asks, "Snips, would you like to accompany me?"
You hear a happy little as it slowly tries to waddle up. I do recommend carrying him. He's a little slow when you try and get him to places.
Troy just awkwardly reaches out his arms and picks up Snips.
And as you do, you actually see those hexadecimal symbols run across your screen for a moment, and it says, as it translates for you on your own hub, "I'm looking forward to this."
Just thinking a moment, Troy states, "Perhaps you may be of some use for me."
Just remember, if you want Snips to fire, like go into actual combat mode, to tell him that explicitly. He will never bring the cannons out otherwise, because it's just too much of a hazard. He knows better. So he needs to know directly this is a combat situation.
It is very well, and as he begins to carry Snips out to the car, he states, "This is unlikely to result in combat. In fact, I would like to avoid any potential violence at all possible." And as he
And you
places...
see Tips nodding and going, "I too would not like to shoot. It is scary."
And as he places Snips into the passenger seat, he gets into the car and loads up a map of just the nearby areas and stuff. And he picks something that's not too far away. A parking lot a couple blocks away. Something like that.
Okay.
All right, do it. Roll? No? Okay. And as he's making his way, he states, "I am going to be doing some net running probing and I am moving to a more secure location in case I am discovered. They will not be able to trace me back to the base if I am not present at the base. However, if anyone approaches me, what I want you to do is simply contact me so that I can exit and drive us to a safer location. Do you understand?
The little drone looks down for a second and then lifts up and just goes, uh-huh.
And just to double check, we brought Dalton's car home, right? It's all
Yes.
analog. All right. So that's the one Troy's driving, the all analog one. And he's going to move over to a parking lot. And he's just going to park and turn off the car. And he's going to enter the net. And he's going to go back to the home emporium. And this time he's going to activate Sentinel and Foxy as he walks up. And he's going to go... As he approaches, he's going to send Raven to that one security camera by the employee door. All right. Do I need to roll for that one?
Yep.
Give me a roll. All right. That's a 0.
Raven shoots out, pecks that fucking lens out, camera tilts down.
All right. Troy's going to try for the door.
Door's locked.
All right. Troy's going to activate Lawyer.
Okay.
All right. That's a fucking +4.
Narrate it.
First good. All right. I'm going to guess in that case it just fucking works. All right. It works, and Troy's going to open the door and walk through the door.
As you are transported into this digital space, what you find yourself is in the round. The space becomes a domed area. Now, I'll just say, out of narration, now would be the time that you might want a pen and paper. You find yourself in a large, circular, domed space. Behind you is the door that you came through. Spaced equidistant around the outer circle, you see a series of semicircles. The one immediately to your left is labeled inventory. Next to that one is a door, not unsimilar to the one that you came through, but is not labeled. Next is another semicircle that's labeled cameras. Next is one labeled drones. Next is one labeled auto checkout. And the one immediately to your right is labeled email. Directly in front of you, occupying an elevated plinth, hovering above the ground, is the avatar of a netrunner.
And has he noticed Troy yet?
The avatar is... Give me a roll.
All right. That's a -1.
I do not see that.
It's a table chat.
Huh. That did not load for me.
Wow, okay. My
Yeah,
chat
I see it here.
My chat's a little bit glitched. It's saying it's not marked red.
Weird.
Yeah, I see a -1 on my end.
Hold on. Discord's doing... Oh,
there we go.
Yeah, it came in after I did that.
Yeah, it stopped glitching as soon as you put that into it.
Good job, Discord.
Cool.
Okay. What you see is that the avatar is surrounded by holoscreens on all sides. And as you peer into that space, what you see is the avatar and the entire plinth, this entire circular area that this Netrunner's presence occupy. You hear this hum, this drone, and the entire thing shifts. And all of a sudden, the drone area is illuminated, and you can see on the screens surrounding the avatar that there are lists of drones and drone controls and camera feedbacks from those drones.
Interesting. So I have about 5 semicircles. Is that all that's there, or are there additional semicircles?
That's it.
Okay. Might need to readjust my map a little bit, but... So, Roy is just kind of going to slowly take a walk around this big circular area as he just kind of gathers a little bit of intel. He's going to be looking at the plinth for a moment. He remembers overhearing something about, from Karen, or possibly Krill, through their devices, something about stims. Is there anything that says about stims on the plinth?
No.
Okay.
The plinth itself is a holographic artifact of the sort of area that the runner is occupying.
All right. Roy is going to poke the drone semisphere and just sees what happens.
1 second. As you walk up, there it is. As you walk up to the drone into the semisphere, into the semicircle, what happens is that a chair and a desk and a terminal arise and materialize into that space.
Troy's going to look up and see if the avatar has noticed.
Oh, you walked right into the drone, right?
Yeah, I walked right up to the drone semicircle and...
Okay. I didn't even dawn on me that. Okay. Give me a roll.
All right. That's a +1.
What's your stealth?
None.
The area lights up red immediately.
All right. Troy doesn't leave just yet. He wants to see. Well, he wants to see if Reconnaissance. What happens? Who's coming after him?
You're just gonna hang out and wait?
Just for a second. I have my defenses up. Speaking of which, what's Foxy saying?
You are down 2.
All right, that's time.
Okay. As yet, nothing has occurred.
All right. What's the avatar doing?
The avatar is still focused in on drone controls.
All right. Since nothing seems to be occurring, Troy's gonna go over to the inventory sphere and just poke it.
Okay. The inventory, the same occurs. The desk arises out of the semicircle with a chair and a terminal.
And nothing's coming for Troy yet.
Not yet.
Foxy gone down at all?
Yep.
All right. It's probably about time to log off now then.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Troy logs off. And he looks down to Snips and asks, has anyone attempted to intervene with us?
I'll answer for the drone then. No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, there was nothing I could answer there. Like, I'm not.
No. E-oo-e. Ooh-woo, no. Oh, god damn it. Now it's Discord on my side.
It's time to die. Let's go.
Yep, there we
Are the
go.
storms over Nevada? There we go.
No, it's just Discord. It's probably the West Coast servers of Discord, frankly.
Oh, that would do it.
Yeah. Either way. Beep, boop, beep,
Does-
ooh-woo, no.
All right.
Does the Northwest have a different server than the Southwest? Not the time.
Well, I suppose Troy is going to just do another little poke, and this time he's going to come from the other angle, and he's logging back on.
Okay.
Just to see what happens. He's throwing spaghetti at the wall, see what he can do.
Okay.
All right. So, getting Foxy and Sentinel back up again, instead of going through the employees only door, he goes through the back door. I'm assuming there's another camera there.
Yep.
He launches Raven.
Give me a roll.
All right. That's a +1.
Same thing occurs. Camera goes
All
down.
right. Lawyer on the luck.
Give me a roll.
That's, oh man. That's a -3.
The lock resists your attempts. You are unable to bypass this door.
Troy's going to walk around the entrance. And just, any unusual commotion going on in there? Or does it seem to be normal?
Seems to be normal.
All right. I don't think there's anything else Troy can really do. He got an idea of what's in there and stuff and the security. I guess he logs back off.
Okay.
All right. He's going to log back off and look around and ask Snips again. Anything in particular? I'm going to assume Snip says no.
Hi. Does Snip see anything?
I also looked at the inventory area too.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't meant to be an attack. This is meant to just probe and stuff. So I'm not. I don't know what I'm missing.
I think the conversation that's occurring is centered around more could have been done had there been softer footsteps.
All right. Troy drives back to the base.
Okay. Give me a roll.
All right. Fucking hell. That's a -2. And my drive is 2, so I think that's a 0. Oh no, my drive's 1.
As you are driving back, you are overtly and overly cautious, and this makes you stick out. And you see the blues and twos light up behind you as you are being pulled over by an NSFPD patrol car.
Well, shit. That car is electric, right?
Yes.
I think in this instance, Troy is going to, through the hardware layer, just try to disable that car.
While you are in motion?
Well, I figured just because the hardware layer is so much faster that motion wouldn't translate. Well,
Okay. Give me a roll.
oh no. That's a fucking... Oh, Lord.
Now give me another roll.
Oh, Lord. That's another -1.
The car behind you, you successfully transfer your consciousness over to, and you short circuit the engine. And in that amount of time, you have come up to a corner, and the car is now... Give me a roll.
That's a +1.
The car has just gone up onto the curb, and the front right corner, front right corner of the car has crunched up against a building and is being scraped as you come back to your body.
Troy quickly diverts back into the road and starts going back on course.
Give me a roll.
All right. That's a -2.
Troy is programmed with very basic driving capabilities in order to sort of chauffeur in a very predictable pattern. This pattern is non-existent in this circumstance. Troy is now having to learn and adapt on the fly to a task that he is unfamiliar with in its entirety. So as he attempts to correct, he overcorrects and ends up clipping a vehicle coming the other way. Now both the right and the left front quadrants panels of this vehicle have been damaged, and you are now running without headlights.
Well, it's a good thing I wasn't too far away from the base. Troy thinks to himself, I doubt Dalton would approve. As he begins to make his way back to the base.
Give me a roll.
Please. -1. Why? And here I thought I was doing something smart.
Smart. So hold on, I just want to see something. That one. As you then correct back from the from swiping a vehicle going down the road, you notice that the right front tire has been apparently shredded. Forget from the going up on the curb and grinding against that building. it's not an inflatable tire to start with, but literally like riding into the side of that building like that just shredded the outer wall of that tire. And so now the entire vehicle is pulling.
Is Troy getting close or making his way back to the base at the very least?
You're close. You're limping along.
Is he being followed?
Not that you're aware of. Give me a roll.
That's a -1.
Um,
And my notice is 1, so a 0.
yeah, not that you're aware of.
Okay. He is able to, at the very least, compensate for the drift, if not somewhat awkwardly.
Okay.
It's just kind of a kind of thing. He's not programmed to drive a damaged car. He's just programmed to drive a car. But he begins to pull into the alleyway where the base is.
Okay. Give me a roll.
+1, I'll take that.
Despite all of the damage, despite the shredded tire, you manage to eke this vehicle down the alleyway.
All right, Troy opens up the garage door and drives the car in. Please tell me I don't have to roll for that.
Oh,
Okay. And then closes the garage door behind him.
what are Karen and Patty up to?
Just so happy I'm me.
Just making our way along with these horrible eyebrows, you know. Just...
I mean, you guys should be back by. Oh no, I'm sorry. You guys are headed to. Sorry, you guys are headed to Lost Innocence.
Yes. We should be almost there.
Yeah, you have to, realistically, yeah.
yeah.
As you approach the outside of Lost Innocence, there are 2 guards on either side of the door. There's not really a line. It's, it's Wednesday night sort of situation, right? It's not really a line. But as you approach, one of the guards, the guard on the left, sort of stops both of you and just sort of, hold on. You're allowed in. You stay out here.
I'm her bodyguard.
Yeah, and the last time you were here, you shot some club members. You stay right where you are.
Karen doesn't say anything and just keeps walking in.
Okay.
Addy just kind of sits on the side of the wall, keeping clearly in his vision, but just trying to, wait. To be fair, I'm not the one who shot anyone.
To be fair, we don't care.
See you in a minute, Karen.
Karen, as you walk in, the club layout is the same. There's still there's some people in here. Vivian is in her booth in the back right corner of the club. She is sitting there, apparently just waiting for you, as she immediately sees you as you come through the door and looks directly at you.
Heads right on over. Miss Vivian. Been so long. Been what, a week?
One can't expect to micromanage, but I'm looking forward to an update. I assume that's why you're here.
Among other things, yes. But yeah, have yeah, yes, I did end up contacting Gavin. Little. There was a bit of a mystery at first. He seemed a little. What's the word I'm looking for? Unable to make any decisions.
I'm sorry. We have to just. I hate to break a scene with you, Aspen. I adore having scenes with you, but holy fuck, it just happened in chat. Just
so
click.
fucking autistic.
Just clicked, huh?
It just, yep.
This is the area he's looking at. I shall walk into the area he's looking at. Oh. Okay. Oh. And scene.
Feel better about yourself, Wordy?
A little bit. Oh my god. That's why it caught me off guard. There was no immediate, response from the systems because it didn't even dawn on me that you would do that. Like, I was like, wait, what?
Pay attention to descriptions.
Got a little hyper-focused there.
It caught me so off guard. I didn't react the way I was set up to mechanically. I was like, what? Did you say drone? Okay. Oh. All right. Just saw that happen in chat. And I'm like, oh my god, I couldn't hold that in.
Took me forever to even figure out what he was talking about.
Oh my god. Oh.
There was a lot of autistic moments. I wasn't 100% sure which one he was like, oh, I get it now. I'm like, which one?
The jumping out of your body while you're in motion one? Or the...
No, that one hit me as soon as I...
You're like, this could be bad. Yeah.
It was referring to what you guys were referring to earlier.
Had you,
it just hit me what the fuck that meant.
By the way, interestingly enough, had you just narrated your way around that, it wouldn't have been an issue. Had you been like, okay, first I want to make sure that I'm on I have a little bit of a straight shot, maybe a block of straight road ahead of me, and then I do this, you'd have narratively just headed that off at the pass.
Sort of what I was kind of trying to imply, but you realize now I could have just worded that better.
Yeah, you should have just said it.
All right. Well, I'm still learning how to play Fate, apparently.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. And hey, banged up car. It's not the first banged up car you guys have, and you got away from the cops, so who gives a fuck, right?
I hope.
Patty something to do with a hammer.
Yeah. There's a hammer. Go fix some things. All 4 quarters get dented in. There, made them match.
Matches.
Yeah.
I'm too busy, Patty. Here, go be a meathead.
Yeah, I gotta fucking get a new tire, though. That's the problem.
Oh, okay. All right. Back to this scene. Where were we? Oh.
Yes. Oh, I had gotten in contact with Gavin. That's right. And he was unable to make decisions about doing anything. Seems interested in wanting to get rid of the business, but mentioned shareholders. But that seems to have... shareholders themselves are... How do I put it? There's a... They seem to have an active presence in his life. There's a bodyguard. God, what is his name? Sorry. Perry.
There you go.
There's a security guard named Perry. Seems to be following him everywhere. And seems to be in charge of Gavin's life. Best as I can tell.
Oh.
I think if we can separate the two somehow, we can make this happen.
Well, I will admit you seem to have made more progress than possibly expected and possibly previous attempts. So that's something. Though I will admit I am a tad disappointed that more progress hasn't been made. But getting him to want to, I suppose, is more than had been previously achieved. So why not?
Thank you. Yeah, he seems to want to get away, get off the island. Well, the island that we may find ourselves in. Wants to get out of the city.
So, what's your next move?
Separation. See if we can get him to talk to me at least a little without Perry. They're messy ways of doing it. That's seems to be the MO of the people I find myself with. So currently that's how I'm one could say resigned to operate in until I know otherwise. Now, the other reason I do come today is we have another small job that we're working on. And there's a weird twist to it.
Does this small job involve any of my club members getting shot?
Not if I can help it. But
Well, that's a change of pace for our relationship. Tell me more.
right. Well, a smaller neighborhood area seems to have a bit of an infestation, and there's a bit of a scab who's found themselves working for the infestation. But I'm gonna do my job no matter what. But this scab, little neighborhood kid, seems to be in the crosshairs. And they have a sick sister at home they're trying to keep around. Now, I don't know a whole lot of places that this poor little kid might find good employment, but from the way that I heard you describe the people who work for you, you take a hell of a lot better care of them than anybody he's ever worked for. So, I suppose what I'm asking is, if you have an opening for a young, possibly highly motivated individual, I'd love to try and help this little guy out.
Well, look at you. Saint Karen. Going around saving the day.
Don't always need to be just shooting people in the back and not looking back myself.
What's that change of pace feel like?
Terrifying. But warm?
So, okay. Okay. Yeah. What neighborhood? Where is he from?
Just south of here.
Okay. Tell you what. Yeah. Is he any good with tech?
Well, currently the way he's employed is fully automating the entire building by himself.
Well, seeing as we still have an interim runner, seeing as I believe you and your little crew ran my last one off, how convenient that you have someone who's going to fill that job.
Like to help out where I can. Heard you had the opening.
You might... you understand why I might be hesitant and want to check this young fellow out first. Those who come bearing gifts and all.
Yes.
But I understand having a soft spot for your community. So, if he checks out, and there better be a sixth sister, then whatever it is you are about to do that is going to ruin this young man's life, I will do my best to shield him from.
Much appreciated on that.
Of course, if you don't complete our previous deal, I will be tossing him and his sixth sister out on their asses.
As you would.
Fair enough. Well then, I think you have a businessman to separate from his protection.
That I do. Fun time ahead. Thank you.
Who is this person and where do they work?
His name is Alex, and he works at the Home Emporium.
That's more than enough for my people to go on. I'll arrange a meeting. Do you need him in place for your job, or shall I simply hire him away?
If he's in place, that would make our job much easier.
Duly noted.
I really do enjoy every time I talk to you, Vivian.
I'm not sure if I do yet or not. You have a good day, St. Karen.
You as well, Miss V.
As you exit the club, standing on the outside is Patty.
Okay, I'm asking you, how much do you squat? Like, I'm looking at those legs. I'm seeing a little bit of that cybernetic enhancement there. I need numbers here.
Seriously, I do leg day. I don't care what you say.
Look, 1-to-1, okay? I'm just curious.
Look, I'm not hiring you as a trainer.
I don't want to get hired as a trainer. I'm just curious.
I know this. I've heard this shtick before. I go to the gym. This is exactly how every trainer approaches you, and they start talking about whether you want to make gains or not, and is that all you can do? And you've got a program or a plan or some shit you want to sell me. Look, I'm not into it, man. If I want to lift more, I'll just go down to Next Fitness and I'll upgrade these legs.
Look, I run a program for myself, but I'm
There
not trying
it is.
to sell anybody
There
else.
it is.
I'm just
See,
asking,
what did I
okay?
tell you? What did I tell you? I can spot
fuck
these
off.
trainer grifters a mile away.
I just asked the as we're like walking off, and like Karen and Patty are walking away, I literally just asked him, like, what does he do? Like, I'm curious, just, exerciser to exerciser shit. I'm just curious.
The last time, I don't like CrossFit.
Okay, Patty actually does slug Karen in the arm a little on that one. Don't you fucking compare me to those CrossFit fucks. Okay?
I want rolls.
God damn it, Patty.
Just one punch. That's it. Not even trying to hurt, just like sock a little
3.
bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So Patty got a +2, and Karen has a +2 on the sort of like on her card. But like, yeah, you hurt your hand. You take a physical stress on your hand.
The fuck are you wearing under that dress?
Me.
The next piece of art I draw of Karen, she's going to be ripped as shit underneath that dress.
No. What you do is you just no. Sleeper build. So like take one sleeve down, sort of thing, like drape it, and then just like this shoulder, like everything else just looks normal, but this shoulder just do the muscle definition on, sort of thing, right?
The tone.
Yeah. Just so you just a little bit of sort of this thing you going on, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on under those clothes? Yeah.
Okay. You get what you needed to get?
Oh, I do believe so.
Alright, well, good job at least. We want to meet up with the others and figure out what to go from there?
Let's regroup.
Alright, you mind if we stop by a convenience store that's not next to our place so I can get some other fucking eyebrows on?
Oh, I have a highlighter in my bag if you'd like a different color.
Honestly, I'll take... I just want, like, either pink or normal looking eyebrows. That's all I'm looking for.
Oh, it's a yellow one, sorry.
I would punch
So
you
are we
again,
after
but
a
I feel like that would
stationery
go wrong.
store or
It's just fucking convenience store. They sell all sorts of shit.
eyebrows?
That's what I picked up at the place near our stop. I figured, just stop
Where
in.
you got that?
I needed
Those are-
something in the meantime.
Your gas station eyebrows?
Well, they didn't have fucking brown.
Oh,
And I was...
okay.
Look, people already hate me, so does this really make that much of a difference?
I recommend just getting a pen.
Yeah, well, I'm not exactly good with that, so,
It makes it unique.
I don't need to look like I'm 4 years old.
The look you have now is great.
Can you show me how to do it when we get there?
If you ask nice.
Please? Please don't hold this. Don't do this. Okay, look. Just some basic makeup assistance. Just a little bit of how to put on eyebrows. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, just ask nice.
Can you please help me, pretty please, with a cherry on top, Miss Karen, oh grateful master, whatever.
That's a start.
We will
Okay.
watch as these two board the local transit, the maglev train whisking them back to the central terminal. They exit the central station with all of its motion and commotion and noise and advertisements and all of these sorts of just this plethora of things that happen in the background. And as you're walking through, you hear one of the news reports, just those snippets that go by in the background. NSF Global Report. Tensions rise as the upcoming LAC mayoral debate is set to address the controversial MindNet proposal, promising direct neural connectivity to the city's infrastructure. Critics warn of privacy invasion, while proponents hail it as a dawn of a new era. Karen and Patty continue their journey back towards the base. And how do we find Troy and Krill as Patty and Karen?
Ow. Okay, besides a couple of wires that are out of place, I think I understand how I busted this. This is a Hydrolinks cable, a power supply. There's 9 separate data lines. They're all really freaking fragile. Okay. I need to replace that entire outlet. That's not too hard, just... Okay. Alright. Troy, could you hand me that spanner down there? I just need to take this piece off gently.
Troy picks up the spanner and hands it to Krill.
Thank you. Alright, okay. Just need to replace this outlet and then fix some of the wiring. And I think we'll have this table ready to go. At least get its arm back on. How's that scan coming? Krill goes to check on the scan that was working on the arm she got off.
Give me a roll.
+2.
You got whatever you needed.
Alright. Layer graphic on how this thing is built. Thank goodness. It shows me any intrinsics on the... you know what? Good thing I did that. Like, I couldn't even see the second power supply hidden in there. Okay, so I gotta check that. Right, I'm gonna work on fixing the table. I just got a couple of more parts to do up and get it back up and running. Is there anything I can help you out with, Troy, in the meantime?
Do you have any particular skills pertaining to cosmetic repairs for cars?
I know how to rebuff and polish a frame. Like, I've worked with, like, turrets and other outer shells. What do you mean? What happened?
During my... Well, we just lost Kai.
He's just off to the left right now. Go ahead.
All right.
Chair Quinn's our DM right now. It's fine.
I left the base momentarily to do some net running in order to probe the security features of the Home Emporium. I did so that if I were accidentally caught, they would not be able to directly trace me to the base and potentially send security forces to the base. On my return home, the car may have suffered some cosmetic damage.
How... Now, Krill's helmet just starts to, like, unclick and fold back, and looking at you with her actual optics. Define cosmetic.
Both headlights will need to be replaced.
That's not cosmetic. Oh, right. Both headlights. What else? Anything else?
There's substantial damage to the outer chassis, and the right tire is missing.
Got it. Okay. The chassis, that can get done with a bit of, elbow grease. the headlights and all that. If we're going to fix it, we need to know their make and model of the lights and the piece that surrounds it. Or I can just design new ones. Which would you prefer in this situation?
I have no preference.
How about you find me the make and model of those headlights? Make it simple, and I'm sure I can find a third-party print design already for it.
Perhaps once our mission is complete. Unless you believe we will be needing this car intact beforehand.
No, I don't think so. So, yeah. We don't need to right now? Okay. Yes, I do, though. Pardon me. I have just been overclocking my systems today. Lots of intake, lots of thinking. Too much thinking at times. Krill boots up the one arm, started manufacturing a few port ends and some new wiring for the table's receptacle. Simple things, shouldn't be too complicated.
Is there anything I can assist with?
To be honest, actually, yeah, when I get these parts done, could you help hold the arm in place when I reattach it? I think the weight of it was what fucked me up there pretty bad. I didn't expect it to be so heavy when it dropped. Yeah, some help would be great reattaching it.
Of course.
Thank you. Kai, do you want me to roll for the repair pieces?
Yes.
Okay.
I will let you roll with advantage, seeing as you have the schematics. Doesn't look like you need to, though.
That's a 7.
So narrate as you will.
Perfectly ready, these pieces come out. And similar to constructing a computer, aka adult Lego with screws, she just starts disassembling, having her soldering torch ready. She just reattaches, she snips fresh heads and reattaches new pins for data entry and replaces an entire power ports. Gets it in, and using her little micro solder, one by one, it's every wire nice and aligned. Putting in the tiny screws. She lets out a satisfying, man. Sometimes I do miss building things by hand like this. It just feels more controlled. Alright, Troy, could you help me out here?
Of course. And Troy grabs the arm and holds it and states, "Where would you like me to place it?"
I'm gonna need you to hold its weight while I line it up to the multiple ports it has to attach to.
Of course.
Thank you. She just connects the data wires first. Power plug. And then guiding you, she puts the whole system on, spins the surface cap, and then using the heavy drills, using the heavy bolts that attach it. Okay. And now a test. She flicks a little switch underneath the arm and sees if it comes to life.
Give me a roll.
Yeah. It's a +1 on the die, so a 5 total.
It springs to life.
Okay. Now we have a schematic to make constructor arms. If we need, the whole armature is scanned. Really, I just wanted those heads mostly. But okay, no, it's really useful. Okay. Setback handled. She just glares at her box of still nanites. You little shits. Okay. What I know we need, I'm going to get started working on. And the more complicated things we'll try and handle later, if I can. So she cues up a schematic she was working on the train ride home, which is a hydraulic arm that works off of a T-joint section. The hydraulic arms push out about capable of 30 feet, so it will be a long process to manufacture this. But from about 20 to 30 feet is how far they can add pressure to, as well as an arm that can go up about 15 feet at most and add pressure that direction, and little arms on either side to keep it in proper place. This should be able to keep the doors that I scanned opened in case of an emergency, so no one is locked inside. Hopefully. I don't know the weight or the strength of said doors and their closing potential, but this is at least our first plan. Krill just leans into her toolbox and brings out a cutting torch. This is plan B. If someone's stuck in there. But this is timely. So, not my first choice. I would like something that's quick and easy to deploy, and we can keep the doors open. What do you think about that, Troy?
I suppose a hydraulic jack is the best possible solution.
Those automatic systems are probably meant to lock us in there in case someone attempts a robbery. For security to show up. That's at least the most rational conclusion I could come to any security system, because I couldn't see any turrets or the like. I'm not saying they're not there. I'm afraid there's probably combat drones that could come out of any corner, but never caught an eye on them. Want to help me move? I've got a bunch of just raw steel in my pile. Want to help me move it over here?
You two should be getting back.
Yeah, the door opens up as Patty's walking in. All right, fuckers, we're back.
Welcome back. Krill is...
Check out Patty's new calico eyebrows.
They're better than the green.
Why are there polka dots in them?
Because they're cute.
Because I asked Karen nicely, and this is what she gave me.
Does
Troy-
it look... Go ahead.
I was going to say, Troy just looks over to Patty. Doesn't really have the greatest comprehension of beauty, but just has an idea of aesthetics. And unwilling to say something that may potentially harm Patty's feelings, he just loads up a few preloaded phrases and says, Patty, you look nice.
Shut up.
These...
Okay, stop. Nope. Don't bullshit me on that. I know how they look, okay? It's fine.
You know,
This
Troy,
is-
it's funny. We can actually tell now when you're using your program stances. You're more robotic than normal.
Humans often say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and he turns and goes into the back room to start loading in scrap.
Patty just
You
like
fucker.
flipping him off as he does that. And then she walks up. She's like, what the fuck happened to the car?
Minor superficial damage. And Troy just continues loading the scrap.
Krill walking in to grab some scrap herself takes a look at the car. Oh, I guess Troy evened it out from what you did to it.
Looks like it still runs. Oh, minus that wheel.
Yeah, the tire's fucked. How much is it?
Yeah.
Doesn't even fucking replace those things.
They're not rubber, right? You know, like, we have rubber tires if we need it, but, like, no, these aren't actually rubber. These are easier to fix. They're more expensive to fix, but they're easier to fix in the long run.
Well, you know Dalton and his fucking shit likes to make it hard as possible. Anyways.
You know what? When you see him again, you can complain to him.
Yeah. Well, when I see him again, I'm gonna have a lot of shit to say, but that's beside the shit. What'd we figure out, Troy? Get anything new?
I do now have an idea of the administration layout. And I'm beginning to formulate potential avenues of attack.
All right. And, well, I think Karen over here figured out a way out of attack too.
I may have swung by Miss Vivian, give her a update, and while we were there, maybe got Alex a job?
Well, aren't you the kind extension of a benefactor?
Do you believe this would increase our chances of success?
If Alex doesn't care about the Home Emporium anymore and instead has a nice inn at Lost Innocence, thank you, brain. Instead has an inn at Lost Innocence, then I imagine they would be very grateful to those who had helped, but at the very least, they don't give a shit anymore.
I mean, either way, we could go in, fuck up his life, and then he could have a new route out, or we could give him a heads up, and then he could fuck off and we could do what we need to do. So either way, we're good.
Or, if his life's gonna get fucked up either way, he can do a little push before he walks out the door. Like, I don't know, nuking the system.
Or just leaving the doors wide open.
I still think there's defenses we don't see in there, and I feel like even if he detached, they're gonna still kick off.
Yeah. Oh.
Redundancy programs are there for a reason.
Yeah, and before we all met up and shit, I figured out prices on the truck and everything. Medium, large, there's 80 credits for an hour to 480 for every 24 hours. We got the large truck, which you can carry a bunch of shit. That's 110 credits an hour. And if you're going for 24, it's 660. Now, you can put insurance, which is 60 credits a day. You don't have to, but they recommend. And then you've got like late returns, however long we do it, it's 30 credits an hour beyond the rental time. So, and then the mileage is 4 credits an hour per kilometer. So, yeah. I didn't bring the truck automatically because I figured we want to figure out what we need before we do anything else.
Girl turns to Karen. I know you don't like spending $1 more than you have to, but if we do insure it, they're less likely to hunt our asses down if something happens to that truck.
Well, if we rent one, something's definitely happening to that truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, while this is happening, can I open up my codex and open up a map and zoom in on Home Emporium? Sure. I just open it up. And give me a second. Let me find it. Okay, cool. So as she zooms in, she's like, all right, so we've got one main street we can kind of hit. That's going down the main street that connects to the fucking tarmac. Now, the problem comes is if they call like security at all, like however which way we go, one way or the other, could put us at greater risk in running into whoever they've hired. So how are we feeling? Do we have like a numbers on when they show up? She looks at Troy.
So, the numbers seem to vary, but between customer and customer, there does not seem to be any conclusive particular time. Some customers find that they approach quickly. Other customers find that they arrive long after the perpetrators have left. If I were to make an assessment, it may be dependent upon which venture is more profitable for the security.
Did they list their locations, any of them?
Various stores throughout the city.
Are you able to create a map of those customers and correlate it to their return time?
I can. And Troy starts bringing up those old reviews that he went through.
Give me a roll.
All right. That's a 0.
There's no rhyme or reason to it.
All right.
Patty's looking at the map. She's like, well, I'm looking at the map right here, and they've seemingly have their main base. Do we know if they have like places stationed across the city, or is it just right there? She's looking at Troy.
Troy goes back to duck its Google and starts Googling Lex Prize stations.
Just so you know, Caboose, it's on the map, so we can look at the map too, just as a potential too.
All right, Troy is syncing up whatever information he finds. Is there stations that they go?
Give me a roll.
All right. That's a -2.
You don't find any.
All right.
Can I roll? I don't have any lore, but having worked with MedTech, I feel like I've on occasion worked with different rent-a-cops in small bits. Would I be familiar potentially with any places they would have had set up outside of their main base?
You, with that explanation, don't have to roll. Same rules that apply to Aspen apply to all of you. If you can narrate your way around the problem, then you are welcome to. They don't do that. They basically have roaming patrols, response cars, and they deploy out of their primary facility. That would drive overhead up too much to have a series of rental locations.
And these patrols, they respond on the ground, or do they just notify?
Oh, no. Yeah. They're response units.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Patty turns over to Karen. Okay. I got one question here, Karen. So, what I remember is when I was doing MedTech, they've got their main base, but they've got patrols. So basically, they're set up in portions. They've got like centers, little circles they go around. So, the question I would have is, can you ask Hank if he's seen any patrols nearby, like that go around Main Street in any capacity? Do you think that would be a good idea?
I think it's a waste of time.
Unless we're like literally watching the whole fucking time, like of areas around, Okay.
I don't think we're going to get an idea of their route unless we had someone on the inside give us that information. So unless someone is selling that information, we're probably going to have to risk it.
Yeah. You just, having an idea of how much risk, never hurts.
However, with having someone on the inside, we might not need to do this at midnight. And if we did this at the highest period of traffic, we might give ourselves the most amount of time, but have the most difficulty leaving.
So would we.
That's what I mean. They'd have the most difficult getting to us, but we'd have the most difficult leaving.
Well, we're coming out of that one main street that connects to home. So basically if that place is full, then we're fucked. But if it's not full and the other area surrounding it makes it easier on our end.
I don't have much more solutions, then I guess we still do it at the pitch at night. Early AMs.
To be fair, the city's constantly fucking going, so it's,
Really
Okay.
is.
So how long is it going to take you to get those arms ready for the truck?
Arms are not going on the truck.
No? Oh, they're on the drone, right?
We're going to use the drones they have there.
Okay.
No, the only...
Something up,
I was trying to upgrade the arms so that we could increase our production here
Okay.
so that we could have the job ready.
So let me interrupt.
That did not work.
Let me interrupt here. You guys are talking about planning that you guys have done behind the scenes. Right? Now, all I can assure you is my plans and my systems and my mechanics are set. I will not be adjusting for anything that you guys happen to reveal at table during your planning. That's part of my job, is to lock my plans in before I know what you guys plan. So if you guys want to actually discuss your plan, just all of it in detail, I promise what I'm doing is not going to change.
Okay, this is now all out of character. Aspen, do we let any guys up? Because I'm still a little worried. I know he says he's locked in, but I'm still a little worried if we just go full mask off on this.
I think it's fine.
All right. We got to build a bomb. We got to build a fuck-off bomb. We were hoping to make a nanite destruction bomb so that people wouldn't get hurt as much. But we need to level that fucking place. Fuck stealing shit. That's our lowest priority right now, is the grabbing of the smash and grab.
Yeah.
If we can get people out of that building, great. Let's hope that Alex can pull a fire alarm, turn the security systems off, have an emergency setting go off. He'll run out. We'll throw it in. Boom.
Okay. So that out of character. Patty in character is like, okay, I know we've discussed this. I know we thought about stealing shit and you've been running the whole list thing. I'm not gonna lie. It feels a lot of work on my end. It feels a lot of risk that we're fucking taking. Do y'all have an idea that we could just get this done, get it over, and get out and do what we need to do?
Aaron, what do you think the chances that Alex will be in on this?
Well, doesn't really matter. We're blowing up his business that he works at. So, if he goes along with it, great. But if I'm interacting with it at all, that's going to be a key component. I suppose if he's not interested in another job, he could be hostile.
So we want to risk giving him a heads up?
Is there a way we can talk to him about it without giving him a heads up the place is a target?
I mean, anything we say is probably going to put him on red alert if he's not going to be for this.
We could come off as just neighborhood hippie activists. We'd be like, we're gonna protest the place, man. We're gonna try and take down your corporation. Do you want to be with them when you come down for the abuse that you face? You really want to side with them when we show how awful you're being treated?
There's also, we actually talked to him.
Yeah,
He didn't care about the business. He cares about making money.
Keep his sister safe.
I was also going to say,
Didn't seem to be enjoying it.
if someone came up to me that I'm working at a job for my entire life to survive, basically, and then says, "Oh, we're going to protest this. You want to join us?" I ain't going to take that fucking risk.
Hasn't that building only been up for a few years now?
Who knows? Who cares?
The neighborhood does.
Well, yeah, the
That's
neighborhood.
why we're
cares.
doing this.
Okay.
Okay. Base plan. Moving forward. Alex is going to be offered something from Miss V. Miss V is planning on getting a hold of Alex, possibly offering a job. In that instance, I will get told. Now, if he says no, I suppose I didn't ask Miss V if she would let me know. I would assume she would.
Do you want to
Can
send her a
send her a
message just in case?
I will send her a message, yes. Yes. If he says no, I would also like to know. Thanks. K. Sent it off.
I will keep you informed.
Send back a smooching emoji. So now we will know. We'll know if he says yes, we'll know if he says no. If he says no, move forward with just fucking over the building any way we can. If he says yes, flex on him. Yeah, he'll come around to our side. At least enough to make it easier. I can only hope.
Okay.
Now,
Down
if
for
he-
mass destruction. Mass casualty isn't my express interest. This time.
Yeah, I'm not too much of a fan of accidental terrorism.
Accidental? I don't do anything accidentally.
I think that's my problem.
I can fuck something up, but I intended to do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I intend to fuck it up, but I'll
Yeah.
intend to do what I was trying.
Yeah. Is there a way you can set it up to fuck over, like, tech and everything without fucking the people up? Like, you run some of your techno magic shit. I don't know.
We're supposed to hurt the business as much as possible.
Yeah, I'd rather not
And
hurt
set.
people, though. If we can avoid it.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, you know, like, I don't think the neighborhood would be too happy about us, like, killing a bunch of people by blowing up the building, you know?
Do we know that?
I can
Yeah,
almost
Karen?
bet for certain.
The job itself doesn't say anything. However, there have always been hidden conditions to these jobs for whether or not you receive a bonus or a cut to your pay. I imagine mass casualties might be frowned upon by the person hiring it. That said, darn.
I
So
mean, look,
two main options we have. Do we have a man on the inside or do we not? If we have the man on the inside, what are we doing? Bringing in a
Basically-
bomb and having him let it off?
I mean,
No. I would more prefer if he set into motions a full evacuation of the building. That I'm assuming some sort of security emergency system would keep all doors open in case there's a fire breakout and make sure air, Point is, makes it easy for everyone to get out. Maybe the fire doors will close after, but
Fire doors generally close. That's kind of what they do.
yeah, but more of the point is that they want to get people out first, so hoping they wouldn't lock people in there in case of a fire. That'd be pretty horrendous.
Probably not, because although the guy who runs it may be enough of a sociopath, so you never know. So keep the doors open if possible, and then try to put the fucking bomb inside while everybody's evacuating. And then once we're pretty sure that it's clear, just blow the shit up.
Exactly.
And if he says no, we basically do the same thing. It's just a little harder to do it.
If he says no, we're going to have to force him to do it.
Well, that's where you come in there, Troy. You go in with your fucking shit. You got a good look inside it yet?
A fairly decent look.
How confident are you in that look? Would you know where to go and what to do?
I'm running at about 75% confidence.
I want to roll from both of you.
Okay.
Did the robot just lie?
Yeah, that's a clear deception.
That's a +0. So I got a 4 there.
Should I roll my deception?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. That's a +2.
She's
And
still...
my deception is...
Yeah, +1.
Yeah.
So, Patty, you hit a +4?
Okay, I just want to preface this. For the first time in Patty's entire career, she's been able to fully understand this robot. She is on several occasions trying to get a grasp of how he's feeling or how he's thinking. So in this moment, as she's staring him down, there's kind of that almost noontime stare from two gunfighters across the street. Yeah, except across. And Patty stares at him directly. But she's still his friend. And she says, "You want to run that by me again, bucko?"
Perhaps I am not as confident as my skills as I state I am. I'm
Okay.
still learning.
All right. I mean, we're all learning here. I've fucked up. My face is burned. So, no judgment between us. Just tell us what happened and figure out what we can do from there.
When I entered, there were 5 different consoles that were being used and operated by the system administrator. I may have, without too much consideration, attempted to use the console he was already using.
Oh, so you got caught.
Close to it, but yes.
Okay. I mean, makes it harder, but if he's on our side, fine. If he's not,
My learning processes have already begun to reassess my actions.
Yeah. All right.
Are you saying you were in the Home Emporium system and this happened?
Briefly.
I mean, that's pretty impressive on its own. You got inside. That's the important part there.
Oh. Correct wording, Patty, for me. Correct, Patty. However, I believe they may have noticed an intruder on that level.
I'm pretty sure that was obvious. Yeah.
Do you suspect they will increase their defenses to make adjustments themselves?
I mean, on my end, I'm not talking for you, Troy, but, the dude's exhausted all the time, so it's a 50-50 bet there. He could be too exhausted to not give a fuck, or he could be like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. So, how about this? Right before we do it, see if there's any shift, see if there's any changes, and then pop back out, and then from there, pop back in if he says no, and then you just fucking bomb rush him. You go in, you fucking knock him out of the system, you keep him out, and then you fuck the system, and then we get in and we do what we need to do.
That was one of my potential plans.
Anybody? Am I hearing any objections to that? Seemed like a good idea. You know, it's me. You know, I throw shit out. I don't always say good things.
You're allowed to have your own concepts without us judging them every time, Patty.
Yeah, but these are the moments when I need you to judge me the most so I don't fuck us over.
I don't think extra practice and work in that way is fucking us over.
Wordy.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't used a fate point in a long time, right? So your refresh
Mm-hmm.
is set at 3, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and take an extra fate point.
Okay.
And extras over your normal amount carry between sessions.
Yep.
So, if you're wondering why, that level of character self-awareness.
Growth.
Just slowly getting towards that. I'm more than a soldier. Okay, look. All right. So we go in, right? If he says yes, he opens the system for us on the back end. We fuck up, and then we throw the bomb in, right? Everybody gets out. Now, if he says no, Troy runs in, bomb rushes the fucker, gets in, and then kicks him out of the system, keeps him out of the system, and then from there opens up everything, gets everybody out. Then we drop the bomb in. Probably, I don't know how fast it processes on yours, so it's maybe like a few more seconds, maybe a minute, and then you put the bomb in, and then once everybody's out, we set it, and then we're out of town. Seem like a good idea? We know what we need to do? The only big thing is going to make sure those doors stay open if he says no. If we can't keep those doors open, the job's out, right? So I just wanted to preface, if shit starts to go sideways, we can go out, okay? We can just say, fuck it, we're leaving, because our lives don't depend on this shit. We've come back from more fuck-ups. We'll be good. We can do this.
Real points to the manufacturing bench that Troy and Krill have been throwing steel on and coming back and forth. And you see what looks like really long rods being made? Oh, the door is staying open. That's being planned around, absolutely.
How long is
As
it?
well. So the doors can open up to about 25 feet or so. These hydraulic arms will be able to put about 30 feet wide of pressure.
Okay. How long do you need to get those done?
Like that, to be fair, it's a lot of matter. It's not a very complicated thing, but it's a lot of matter. So we're looking at a few hours. They should be working overnight, to put it simple. I was hoping we'd have some extra arms to make shit faster, but that's not on the table right now.
Okay. So, in this moment,
And we have a plan B, and she just takes her torch and goes,
how thick is that door?
it's a cutting torch. This thing heats hotter than the surface of the sun.
Yeah, but metal's metal. It takes a minute.
Once it gets going, it turns to liquid.
All right.
No,
Okay.
it'll be a bitch. Like, if it's really fucking thick, it'll be a bitch to get it heated in the first place. But once it is heated, we'll be cutting through.
Okay.
But it'll be timely. So if we get stuck in that way, it will be pushing the clock.
Okay.
So I hope we have a backup if that is happening. Like
Yeah.
something that Troy can do or Karen can do from outside of the building.
Roy, I have a curious question.
Yes,
So,
Patty.
running your predictions, right? How long do you think, personally, it would take you to break in, bomb rush him, and be able to get into that system?
I don't believe I have enough data right now to give you an accurate assessment. I do not yet know this is a system administrator's skills. I do know that they do have a cybersecurity force that can respond. However, their response time is not very well documented. They will be the bigger threat than him, I believe. If I can somehow prevent him from calling Econsec, then perhaps it may only be a few minutes.
More than anything, right now, coming from my end as Patty, is those doors. Those doors are what kind of make or break us. If we can get the hydraulics going, right, we need to get a certain car to be able to fit the fucking arms in. That's another thing to keep in mind. Like, how are we attaching those? Are we just putting them on the fucking side and just rolling in? Because I feel like that's a bit of a dumb idea.
Run that by again.
So we need those hydraulic doors to be able to keep the door open, or the hydraulic arms to keep the doors open. So the question I have to ask is, how hard is it to attach it? What are we attaching it to?
The ground.
Oh, we're just going straight up. Okay, cool. So we basically pile in the car, pull it out, set it up, and then just pull it. And we don't need to recover those. We're willing to abandon those.
Oh, fucking of course. I'm not putting my label on any of that.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, it's just an oversized jack.
Cool. So, yeah, just jack it up and then just fucking extend out the fuck. And this is in case he says no.
Yeah, no. All of my planning is mostly on the redundancy that he won't. But if he does say yes, then the only thing I need to focus on is the final detonating system.
Okay.
Now, I did start a experimental system on a sonic accelerator, but I don't think it's going to do enough blasting for us. So I'm going to shelve that, and we're going to work on a more traditional bomb, or find a way to figure out these goddamn nanites. But I have a feeling there has something to do with how the city controls them, or corporations do, that gets in the way. I'll have to look into that more later, though.
Yeah, just to make it easier on your end, it might be easier just to make a fucking bomb. Just pure and simple. Just, I don't want you to be stuck at that table the whole time and to be exhausted when we start this job. So it might just center on us getting as many people out as fast as possible.
I'm sure there's a means of avoiding me being at that table the whole time. But yes.
But I don't want you overclocking yourself, right? I don't want you pushing your systems to the max.
I'm also, if it's in the middle of the night, there's not going to be a ton of people there. It's kind of why doing it then.
But the city doesn't really sleep that much, so there's going to probably be at least a decent number.
I know a lot of, I used to live in the industrial section. A lot of those people were only leaving their homes leaving work at 2 a.m. And if you had to do grocery shopping or home shopping on your way, they're going to be there.
Okay. What car are we running with? What we going with the ones we got? Want to Dalton's electronic car? Do we want to hire a completely other car?
No, that van is still that van. Even if we're not smashing, even if we're not grabbing, we probably want that van so we can move a bomb in a bit more controlled environment.
Okay. Did you get a chance to scan the doors at all? See how hard they hit when they go down?
I tried. No, I couldn't do any in-depth scans because that would have alerted their systems for sure.
Okay. Because I'm imagining if we can roll the truck right under and then put it down, if it get the door to at least hold temporarily under the truck, then we could put the hydraulic and push it up.
In a situation that Alex is not on our side, that would probably be an acceptable situation.
Yeah. So roll truck in, under the door, probably break the glass, hydraulics in, and then we push up, and then we put the bomb, get everybody out, and then as soon as everybody's out, we pull the truck out, then we get the fuck out as is exploding. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go hire the truck, hire probably a medium truck so we can be ready on that. Or how many hours are we thinking we need that truck?
Do we need to get the truck right now?
I don't think we need the truck right now.
I don't think we need the truck right
Okay. So give it a couple hours for V to give us a heads up on if she talked to him, and a couple hours for those.
Give her a day. We have a lot of setup to do, and the less we poke around there, the less likely we're going to throw red flags for a bit.
Well, I thought we were going at midnight. What time is it right now, Kai?
No, not tonight midnight. That is the time in which we are doing the operation.
now. There's
Okay.
a midnight tomorrow too. We might go then.
Or the night after that.
See, this is why I
Midnights
need
come
you.
pretty commonly.
This is
What
why I need
midnight
you.
occurs every day?
Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, Troy.
Very insightful.
How many a week, Troy?
7.
Oh,
How many in a month?
We have so many opportunities.
That would be dependent on the month.
average
Damn it.
30.
Okay, so we've got a day to get ourselves ready for the job, and then okay. So give it a day, get those arms ready, get the message back from Vivian. So I can grab like a set of black clothes I've got in my closet. Anything else?
Brill could make you a stencil. Fair.
Oh, I
Give me a
see.
pencil for my eyebrows.
We
I can
absolutely
just-
could.
I'm pretty sure those just exist. I can just buy one real quick.
Yeah.
Look, I'd
Just
rather
Go to an
work.
actual store for them, please. They're not expensive.
Yeah, I'll go find the Korean lady down the street. It's fine.
There you go.
Yeah, that's better.
Self-care's important, hon.
Yeah, well, my self care is down a bottle, so you know.
That's not healthy.
You ate literally like an unknowable amount of calories. Don't talk to me about healthy.
Her body can handle it just fine, though.
You have an engine that requires a week's worth of calories in a single day?
Yes. I'm
You have
shitting
augments
you.
you're not telling me about?
I'm lying.
I'm just saying. You got an augment you're not telling me about.
I
Might want it.
I am making a decision that I hadn't made prior to in my world building, but this discussion caused me to think about something. I'll be implementing the HHPC calendar or the HHP calendar, which evens out the months.
So every month
God,
is
Okay.
like
Yes.
every month is
And
always
New
30
Year's is a
days.
holiday, right?
Yeah, and you end up with a mini month every in certain years sort of situation. Yeah, it fixes the calendar. Yeah, I'll firm it up and put it into lore, but yeah, the calendar has been fixed. Yeah, I'm running like the HHP calendar or something like that.
All right. Thank
I
God.
really do want to live in your world now.
Yeah.
It's just all over here like daylight saving time too. Fuck that.
No. Yeah, nothing.
What is daylight saving time? We
None
don't
of that
sleep here.
exists. Yeah. So just for that purpose, like the answer, I'm having to retcon Troy's answer. It does not depend what month you're in. There is a certain amount of days now.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll get you guys a proper calendar.
Sweet.
Okay, awesome. Sweet. All right. So
Fixing the world one thing at a time.
pretty much. All right. So
Adding tragedy intermixing it, but fixing the world one plot at a time.
yeah, it's okay. We had the nuclear holocaust. Just to fix the calendars. Just it all evens out in the end. All right, so you're working on the arms. We're waiting on that response. Give it a day. Let's try to kill some time. Troy, is there anything you need to do while we're waiting here? You see anything else you can figure out?
Besides assisting Krill, I believe that my next action will be dependent upon Karen's response.
Okay. So it seems like we've got a plan in place.
What are you going to do in the meantime, since it sounds like we have to wait?
I mean, stay fit, stay ready, stay limber. That's the best I got right now. Is there anything you need me to do?
Okay. No, my main concern was you not going to a bar and actually being prepped and ready.
Oh, mate, I mean, I was going to go to a bar, but I'm not going to get drunk. I'm running like 6 drinks right here. I'm fine.
She might die if she doesn't drink, really.
Yeah,
Okay.
right? You see, you
Okay.
got your calorie system bullshit. I've got my alcohol system, and I need a certain level of non-sobriety, okay?
Isn't that called alcoholism?
Yeah, no, going sober will kill her.
Yeah, no, alcoholism
Gotcha.
is a myth spread by the fucking sober propaganda. Big sober, okay?
2
Troy
days from now,
brings
going
up a
sober,
medical-
you'd die.
Troy brings up a medical journal on alcoholism.
Yeah.
True fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. She stopped drinking cold turkey right now. She'd be way more useless to you than she was if she were full on drunk.
Yeah, and that moment she just injects another thing into her side, and she's like, "Well, gotta make sure my liver keeps working."
I was more along the lines proving to Patty that no, it's not made up, it's a real thing. But yeah, Troy then does notice that there is a chance that she could actually fuck herself up if she stops drinking.
See?
Hey, I'm not going to ask you to cold turkey. I am going to ask you, though, to focus more on being ready to run.
I'm
Pick up
ready
heavy
to
shit.
run when I'm ready to run. All right, don't worry. I know how to keep myself going. I did the fucking courier job. You think I was sober then?
That's something you could practice. You could practice running.
I run like 3 times a week at least.
Keep it up.
Jesus Christ, you think I don't know how to keep my own schedule running? Jesus.
No, I just meant, keep yourself
I have personally
busy.
witnessed Patty's athleticism.
Yeah, you think I can't pull those moves with a fucking bitch trying to stab me out of nowhere?
As
All right.
the group devolves into figuring out the ideal level of drunkenness for Patty, what the ideal blood alcohol content for Patty is, the camera starts to pull out of the base, and we see evening, night shifting into the depth of night. And we realize, we start to think to ourselves, and we start to witness the symphony of obscenity and shadow that is NSF, lit by this ethereal glow of moon and neon, carrying this conspicuous and mysterious, this gentle hum, a reminder of this relentless drive and the endless possibilities that you find yourself in. So we pull further and further away from the city, fading to black.